Had it muted. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
This is the PMC Podcast. I'm your host, Wes Hammonds, joined in Studio B Plus by the CEO, Mr. Big Shot, Trent Michael Pollard, the switcher himself, without camera, Paxton Bare Knuckles Biggs, who has a mic, Bare Knuckles.
Oh, hi. I didn't know what you wanted from me.
For the first time here on the PMC Podcast, we are joined by headshot extraordinaire, Liz Gleese.
Hi.
Feel free to look at the camera. We have to tell everyone, look at the camera. We break the fourth wall here. Hey, camera on me. If you have to talk to the camera, you get the camera's attention to look at you.
Camera's not on you.
Feel free.
No, it's on you.
Feel free to address the camera, look at the camera, all you want. Introduce yourself to the audience at home.
Oh, hi, audience. I'm Liz Gleese.
Millions of people right now.
Yeah,
Millions.
Yep.
the millions. And what do you do here, Gleese?
I am.
What do you do here,
Wait,
Gleese?
Gleese? It sounds like I'm back in the military.
What would you say you do here?
The headshot and branding photographer at Pollard Media Company.
Hell yeah.
That is just lovely. Yeah. Now, we talked a few weeks ago when we had friend of the show, Evan Drake, on the pod that typically the PMC podcast.
Hold on.
Can we please stop calling
address
it
that?
the pod?
Yeah, stop saying the pod. Before we
What
get
do you
any
want me to
further,
call it?
Podcast.
Okay, maybe you got time for all those syllables. I don't. I'm on a busy schedule. I got many things to do. So on the pod, we talked a few weeks ago that friend of the pod, Evan Drake, was on, and he kind of talked to us.
See, the fact that we now address it.
You made it
Double
so
down.
much worse.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun.
He came on. He talked to us about his company, his basketball training company, Next Gen Hoops, and we discussed then that typically it will just be the three of us guys on here each week, just kind of bullshitting along. But occasionally we'll bring on some guests. We'll have them on in kind of an interview style to kind of talk about things that they're passionate about and provide a platform for them to voice those passions. Today, we are doing that once again with our headshot photographer, Liz, here, as we just addressed a second ago, who actually has a really interesting, we're going to get into it a little bit, but just a real quick point. Probably one of the weirder ways to have ever joined a company to actually have like acquired a job. Trent, do you want to kind of tell us? Because Liz started out as a paying client.
Yeah, you paid money.
I did pay money
to get the job, which I guess, I mean, if she was trying to, like subconsciously make this happen, she did a fantastic job, but go ahead.
Yeah, so Liz paid to have us do our headshots here in the studio. And at the time, I was just doing the headshots. And she came in, and she's a photographer herself, and I looked at her photos online even, and I even texted her beforehand. I was like, your photos are really good. Like, she does family photos and stuff. And she came in, we were doing the headshots. She was very kind and provided some
constructive
criticism.
Yeah.
Hey, let's try this.
Yeah. Clearly knew way more than I did about shooting human beings because I shoot houses. And pretty much that day, I was like, you should consider just working here. And you were like, let's have coffee and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
And we did, and here we are.
So I now have a question, boss. I actually don't know the answer, so I'm going to ask. And Liz, you can chime in as well. Did Liz end up paying for those photos that you took of her?
Yep.
She did.
You made her pay.
She actually liked them.
I love my photos.
Yeah,
I love them.
You, in the middle of the shoot that she was paying you for, you were like, hey, maybe I think I want to hire you, but still make sure we send an invoice. Pay that real quick, and then we can grab coffee.
She might have even paid before she came.
I think
can't
I
remember.
did. I don't like to have debt, so I paid before.
You should have given the
Might
dollars back. I mean, I won't, but they should have. That's all I need to say here. So
I still love my photos. They're great.
Yeah.
They were paying for. Yeah.
tell the audience, Liz, was your plan? Because you had just you're not from here originally.
No.
We'll get into that here in just a minute. But what were you getting the photos for?
So I'm also a realtor with Keller Williams. I'm
What?
going on my
I didn't know. Just like,
I'm going on my second year, and so I needed some new headshots. I had some previously, but I wanted an updated headshot that represents me as I am now.
Sure. For your realtor purposes.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Business cards, social media, the works. And
Right.
so I came in, and I had never met Trent, but I had always heard good things about Trent and about PMC. And so word of mouth. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
It travels. And so I'd heard great things. And so I was like, yeah, let me just look them up. And I booked it online. It was super easy. Yeah.
So you kind of answered my second question there, and it is that.
And you brought more people, if I remember.
Yeah.
A few other people came in.
Yeah.
So you in fact did stage this whole masquerade of like, I need photos for my real estate, and then actually just turned it into a job. She just confirmed that right there on the pod, and not
No,
so many
it
words.
We were
Definitely.
manipulated.
No.
Yeah, we were trained. Now look, she's on the podcast. She's getting video. She's gonna go home and tell her husband she was on the pod. I mean, it's just gonna be. She's been planning all this from the very beginning, and I applaud you. Do we have the geese? Can we give her the geese packs?
Hang on.
Oh, yeah, we gave
This
her
is
the
a
geese.
little loud.
Yeah, it's always loud.
She doesn't have her headphones on, so
that you don't hear the
So there's a
That's all right.
geese noise
It's
that
just
was
a
just
horn.
played. That was supposed to be an air horn.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Trying to explain this to someone like that isn't a part of the lore of our podcast.
Wait,
it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
wait. Pax, while you're talking, who's the camera on?
I just switched.
Are you?
between
I
I didn't think about that.
I went over and looked at him because I'm like, the camera's on him when he's talking, and I see him like switching over there, and I'm like, wait, who's the?
I'm
who's
just
the camera
switching
on while you're
between you
talking?
guys. I'm switching
Kinda
between
switching.
you guys. Yeah.
You're getting us watching you talk.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like POV me.
Yeah. So from before the PMC cast, we did a college football podcast.
I've heard.
And so we had many sound effects, and it was a little more gimmicky or whatever. And one of the things we had on there was like an air horn sound effect. And we had like an applause and a boo and all that sort of stuff, right? So we used the air horn quite a bit. And Paxton and I, Trent was running the switcher at the time and had like all the sound effects or whatever. And Paxton and I were like, hey, get us like an air horn, like they would play at like a football game or whatever. And we can use it for different things.
He got a geese?
So no, he got what he thought was an air horn.
It's the audio file that I downloaded said air horn, and I put it on there, and it kind of sounds like a goose.
It sounds like a flock of geese just running
Not
across
a flock,
the road.
maybe one goose in distress.
One goose in
Yeah.
distress.
That's
kinda what it
how
sounds like.
So it kind of just became a thing that we were like, yeah, if you did something good, like instead of an applause, you get the goose, give him the goose. So there it is again. So
Yep.
that kind of became a thing. So there's your back.
Thanks for my first goose.
Yeah, there you go. If you don't know the lore of the podcasting trio, there you go. But yeah, so you manipulated your way into a job. Let's see,
Yep.
where else were we at?
Well,
we were
Sounds so
actually-
bad.
A more serious take on that actually is I was thinking of trying to bring on someone, contract kind of how you are, and someone that could do people, and that we could just do branding photography through
Could
them.
photograph people.
They could come in and do the studio stuff. That was kind of like I was chewing on that idea, but I am petrified of hiring people. Like I've literally, she's the only human being I've hired that's been like a stranger, I think.
Oh, that's right. I'm the outsider. Yeah.
Yes.
How does
I
that
wouldn't
make you
call
feel?
you the outsider.
I'm definitely the outsider. I'm
Well,
definitely
kind
the
of
outsider.
Glenn, I guess, in Oklahoma City.
I say you didn't know Glenn,
But that was through Morgan. Morgan was like, "This dude's awesome.
Vouch for
He'll
him.
be good." Yeah.
right.
Liz came in and we got along so well.
Yeah.
And she was just chill, and she kind of like put up with our bullshit
Right.
a certain
Which
way.
takes quite a bit.
Yeah. And I literally was like, she'd be worth like hiring and actually having around. And
So-
long term, like I could see it turning into something like serious.
So it's funny you mentioned that because Liz and I talked, off air, just kind of, whatever, the other day about our annual team meeting that we had,
Mhm.
our winter meetings here
Let's
for PMC.
let's call
the
it
other day.
inaugural.
The
Uh,
meeting.
And Liz actually talked up quite a bit. Who was the person you talked to quite a bit at the meeting?
What?
Who did you talk to mostly at the meeting when we were just kind of bullshitting
Talk
around?
to everybody.
Taylor?
No, I'm getting to something.
I talked to everybody.
You said you talked to Glenn specifically quite a
I'm gonna
bit.
get
Yeah,
drink.
I did talk to Glenn.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said you talked to him and kind of found a connection with Glenn because you both felt like you were outsiders to the group, you said.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
you said
yeah.
you kind of felt like an outsider.
Yeah.
Explain I'm butchering it now, but like you and Glenn will listen to this. So we
Glenn,
want
listen up, Glenn.
We want to shout out Glenn, but you said that you and him kind of found like a common ground a little bit.
Yeah, we're the strangers. We're not like we've been friends for life, folks. We're the man. I don't know about these folks. Let's give them a trial run, folks.
Right.
We're those folks.
Well, we're glad that you're here, and we're glad that friend of the show, Glenn is with
I don't-
us as well.
I don't know that Liz is as much of a stranger as she thinks she is.
Well,
because
as we start getting into the backstory of Liz, like, yeah, she's a little more familiar than, we obviously thought.
geographically speaking,
Right.
Well, yeah.
With
in
your
terms of your husband,
spoilers.
yeah.
Oh, don't get to that. Don't get to that.
We were
Okay.
spoiling
We're
it. If
gonna-
you were here listening and not getting a Red Bulla, then you would know.
Hey, do you have another one of those?
I was getting ready to say, where did you pull Red Bulls from?
This
You
is
don't
the
have
only
any
one.
more?
I have Pepsi in there, and I have beer.
We have
kind of
beer,
beer?
if you'd like beer.
I can't have beer. I
Michelob.
can't
Oh,
have
yeah,
alcohol.
on the 75, yeah. Well, you can have a Red Bull
I mean, if it's a sugar-free one.
if you don't offer her that.
I don't think it is.
I don't think that's a sugar-free one. We're good.
This is not.
No.
This is not.
How much
75 grams of
Actually,
sugar.
only 38 grams.
was it you that was
Okay.
saying you knew someone who worked at a place like this?
Yeah,
And like, what do? They pour the sugar in first or something?
They put the solids in first, yeah.
Which would, that's.
And then the liquids, yeah.
Which makes perfect sense, but just not one of those things in 30 years I've ever like sat and pondered. Like, I wonder.
Me either.
I wonder what went first into this can. Like, that's not one of those things I ever.
First, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, it's not one of those things I ever kind of thought about. You'll notice Trent does this thing where every episode, dating back to, so we totaled it up at one point. The three of us have done maybe 100 to 150 hours of podcasting
That's
in
a lot.
our life. The three of us doing
Because
multiple
we
different
podcasted
shows.
for 4 years in college
Gosh.
about college football.
And then we tried
Yeah.
to carry that on into our adult life, and then it kind of tapered off, and then it came back.
I love that you put adult in.
Yeah, adult life. Yeah.
We're adults.
I'll let you know when I'm an adult. And I'm 30 and I don't feel like one. So, but no, so like the three of us have like 100 to 150 somewhere in their hours of podcasting.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, as far back as I can remember, Trent gets up in the middle of the show while Pax and I are mid-conversation.
Just leaves.
Just walks away, and he'll go get a drink or make a coffee or go to the bathroom or text or answer a phone call or, just whatever.
Yeah, the last
Just so
episode we did.
nonchalant.
The
He's the
last
boss,
episode
though. He can.
we did. He was outside talking to a client for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Which,
I got
mean,
a phone call from
I mean,
a client, and I was like, I'll be back.
Business
Yeah,
is business.
they come first. I guess.
Except that when he finally came back, he was like, I totally forgot we were recording. I was
I
out
did.
there and I just forgot about it. So it wasn't like a, hey, yeah, can I get back to you tomorrow? I'm in the middle of something. He was just like, oh, yeah, sure. I got time when I'm not doing anything. Just so like, yeah, whatever. You'll notice Trent will do that.
Get a
So,
drink. You should just keep like a little mini fridge down
yeah,
here.
keep a cooler next
Full
to
of
him.
That's
right
actually a really good idea.
That's-
Well, hold on.
I'm
now,
full of great
now,
ideas.
Now, Liz, speaking of which, you actually
There's a bug on the table. It's gone now. It
okay,
flew off.
good. You actually said that we should get rid of the fridge that we have, didn't you?
Yeah, you definitely need a big fridge.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree with
For
that.
sure.
I do agree.
I mean, water bottles for clients.
Yep.
Your Red Bulls, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, we offer lots of clients beer.
We
and
need one of
bourbon,
those
so-
ones with like
That
the
too.
glass front.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Oh,
That
the
looks
touch screen where you
super
can see what's
professional.
Okay.
inside.
touch screen.
Yeah.
You haven't seen
You haven't
those?
seen
I've
those?
seen them. I didn't know we
Oh.
had money for such things. I
Oh.
need
No,
a
we
raise.
don't.
We don't.
I need a raise. Liz, do you want to take this time? I'll give you a second as I'm kind of rambling. You'll notice I do that as well. So start preparing your thoughts of all of the multitude of things that need to be improved here at PMC.
Yeah.
I need
'cause-
some pen and paper,
'cause-
y'all.
Yes.
Over the weeks since Liz has been here, she's like, "You should change that. You should get one of these. We need that. We got to do this." So if you just you feel free, take you a little stand right here, and we'll post this out, and then the audience can hold Trent, not me, Trent accountable to making these changes and remedying these issues. So if you want to take this time, soapbox it up, and tell us, all just the travesties that we have here at the office.
Okay, you need some wall art. Like, for real, you need some wall art.
Yeah, we do.
You really need some wall art. Like,
We have
take
a television.
pictures.
Does that
you
count?
have the television over. You have the television
But
first.
it's literally not on ever.
Yeah.
Wait, no. I came in here for the team meeting, and it was either on a football game or a basketball game.
Okay, that was only because
we did have
basketball.
basketball.
that was
For the
situational.
team meeting.
That was situational.
It is never on. It's never
No.
on.
We've
Okay,
never
well, I
had it
just
on.
proved your point wrong. It
Yeah.
was on.
It's very rarely on. Yes.
Trent and I have talked about, like, I think we spent, whenever we were getting everything for the office, I think we spent like close to $1,000 on that, and it's we regret it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. So wall art.
Wall art. I mean, we
definitely
take
think you need
pictures
wall
here.
art.
So
And you take beautiful photos.
thank you.
And I think that should be displayed. That should be the first thing people see when they walk in. Wall
I
art.
agree.
This is
Good
good.
work.
Keep it
I
going.
think
What's
some
next?
of your photos you've taken too.
Yeah,
We need to
absolutely.
get up here of
Yeah.
some people.
Yeah.
Well,
That'd be cool.
maybe. And then I think there needs to be like a coat, a clothes rack.
A coat rack or
Oh,
a
yeah.
clothes rack?
Clothes, sorry.
You
clothes
mentioned
rack.
that today because we had a client come in and
Come
you
in
had to
with all of
lay
her stuff.
How to change
Yeah.
the clothes.
She had to lay she had a bunch of clothes on a hanger on our ping pong table.
On the ping pong table.
Which is very fitting for us.
Yeah.
So we do.
Do
We
you
need
mean
to
do
get
that?
one that's
Very
on.
fitting.
On
Huh?
wheels.
Yeah, we
that
need to
would
get
be
one
good.
on
On
wheels.
wheels.
Very,
That'd be
very
cool.
fitting because it was. Anyway,
I get it.
thank you. Thank you.
It was bad. It was bad.
That one was kind of not as good, but
Well, I mean, it was mid conversation. I just wanted to make sure we got. What else? What else? Continue. This is good.
okay, a ledge in the bathroom.
A ledge. What's
Yes, because fellas don't have lipstick and mascara and blush
Mm.
and things to fix their hair with, but ladies do. So when they go in the bathroom to touch up, they need something sanitized to put their things on. Like a safe,
fair enough?
Jackson,
sanitized
are you writing all this
ledge.
down?
I have a list that I
He
sent
does
you.
have a
I
list.
sent you this.
He's
all
got
this
like
stuff.
a honeydew list. It's so sweet.
I'm pretty sure a friend of the show, DJ Bosa, was making a checklist on the
He was
on the
while we
yeah,
were
whiteboard.
yeah. There have been several lists made, but I've only gotten the V flats and the paper towels. I'm just gonna have to start getting like you packs and just demanding stuff and like being mean.
You're gonna have
Yep.
to, yeah. You're gonna have to demand it a little bit.
Yep.
It's really the
That's
only
what.
thing.
That's why I'm like that.
And
Yeah.
your step stool.
Oh God, I need a step stool.
Need a step stool.
Like for real, I need
so
a
that
step
you don't
stool.
have to like lug it in here
Y'all,
and lug
listen.
it out.
I'm telling you. So something I did last week when there
Who's
was
the
something
camera
that
on?
like it's on her.
Oh,
It's something that kind of like fell through. I was like, I'm gonna make sure we do this no matter what. And I was like, I got you. I'm gonna make sure all the stuff on that list is taken care of
thank you, Pax.
before our next podcast. So
Boom.
Trent,
That's 6
I'm using
days.
the company card
So-
on that. So get rid of.
I'm using the
Get
company
ready.
card on that. Get ready.
Yeah.
But listen, so today when he left, he was like, "Yeah, Liz, there's a tool on top of the door." On top of the door. I'm 5'1". And so thank God I had my step stool. I went to go leave, and that dang thing's all the way up there, y'all. I had to get on the second step of my step stool
So,
and reach up there.
You know, for the listeners, you know the
Should we be sharing this information?
oh,
yeah, you know
it's
the,
to lock the door.
the types of doors that have the little push bar thing that you
Yeah.
push. If you push it in and hold it in, you take an Allen wrench, or is that an Allen wrench?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you turn it and you like lock the thing to stay in, so that when you have
Why
customers,
didn't he look to us to confirm that it was an Allen wrench?
I don't know. I just had a brain for
Let's
it.
be honest.
I'm
Wes.
a little. I feel judged a little
He
here.
didn't call
Liz.
it an Allen wrench when he told me about it. He was like, that tool up there.
That tool up there.
That's true. I
Yeah, you
say
did.
that. So, and if you lock it, it'll keep that thing pushed in, so that when you have customers outside, they just pull and the door opens. You don't have to do anything. But if no one's going to be at the office, the last person to leave needs to like unpop it,
A tall person, apparently.
and it takes that tool, which we hide above the door.
In,
Yeah,
in
that's
case
tell
criminals
everyone. Thanks.
want to
Yeah,
come
which
and
we no
steal it.
longer will keep it there. No.
Trent, move to your left a little, just a little.
So yeah, I need
Just
a
so you're
step stool.
centered.
And to
There
your
you
right,
go.
a little.
There you go.
Right here.
Back.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Yeah, I need a step stool
I wish
really
I could have seen
bad.
that. Man, that would have been really funny.
And a 3-step step stool would be money.
I'm gonna
Is
make
yours
sure
a 2?
we add
Yeah,
that.
mine's a 2, but the
Three-step.
nurse that we had in here today, she was so tall,
Oh,
and my
really?
2-step didn't get high enough.
Really?
Yeah, so I need a 3-step.
and the stool needs to be decorated right.
I mean, we
Yeah.
can bling
Liz's
this out.
stool.
We can bling it out.
Put some
Yeah.
rhinestones on
I
there.
would actually really like that.
And we need you to like sign it. That'd be cool. Autograph it. That'd be cool.
Oh my gosh! Anything else? What else do we need here? It's get in while the getting's good. Apparently.
What, a refrigerator,
Fridge.
Yeah.
step stool.
That actually would be
ledge.
good just to have drinks on
Yeah.
available.
Ledge.
A ledge in the bathroom.
Mobile clothing
Yeah,
rack.
Mobile
of
clothing
some
rack.
sort. Those are the most pertinent things I can think of.
Your own ping pong paddle.
No, Liz ain't playing ping pong. Sorry. Not sorry.
What are I mean, there's like a technical term for like juggling balls. What are those called?
What?
Balls?
The things you juggle with, but like there's a technical like
Just balls.
I think there's like a technical like
Sax.
maybe
No!
it's that, I don't know. Maybe it's the juggling sax. But you need to learn how to juggle because everyone else who's employed here knows how to juggle. So
I guess I can't be
you're gonna have
employed.
to learn. And it's very simple.
It's
You can
random.
do it. Yeah.
The reason we all know how to juggle is because Paxton had a random stint in college where he was like,
He
learned how
that
to-
wasn't Paxton.
yeah, he
Yes, it
decided
was.
he
No.
went. Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was Paxton.
yeah,
Paxton
it
went
was
all
Dave.
in on juggling.
Yeah.
And then Tyler.
No, Tyler was first.
No.
No, Tyler made it more famous.
This is what makes me
That
an
sounds like Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That
Ty-
makes more sense of his personality of why it's stuck
Paxton
in my
wasn't
head.
like, check this out all the time. Once Tyler got it down, he was like in our face.
Tyler was going. He would like sweat and
Yeah.
juggle.
And so then,
hey guys, look at this.
yeah. So then I was like, shit, I got to learn. And then you learned, and
Yeah.
now we all juggle.
No, it's very, very simple. Very simple.
and this is what makes me an outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you learned how to juggle, Liz, maybe you'd be less.
Do you know your
outside.
brain actually grows when you learn how to juggle?
I mean,
I heard that there's. I read that. Do not quote me on that.
Do not
Do
quote
not
me.
quote me on that.
Pull this
It
up
might
on
be
Google.
wrong.
Yeah.
Google
I
it.
might need to Google that.
Will you make a graphic, like a nice one, and it's just like a quote from Paxton? It's like, did you know your brain grows when you learn how to juggle?
Thanks.
Paxton Big.
When
Thanks,
you-
jugglers.
when you get PMC sweatshirts made, that should be on the front.
That's our tagline.
That's your tagline, yeah.
PMC. Juggling builds brain. I don't know.
That's a good idea.
Thanks.
Also, I had an idea for a graphic. I'll just run by you real quick.
Okay. I don't have any like billable hours, so this is good. Throw me more.
Kind of
ideas.
based off of the sports. You know how like you'll have a kid like when you're doing your basketball ones, and it'll be like 3 different pictures of him, and he's like different sizes, and imagine if like we asked a realtor, how many houses did you close on in the year of 2020 or 2022, and they said 10. We say okay, and we get the front picture of all 10 of the houses they sold, but we blew the background out, and it was only the house.
You've talked about this before. I don't think houses work. I don't.
I just pictured like all 10 of the houses, like
Right,
different sizes,
right,
and then
yes.
the realtor like in a cool candid pose, like walking with like paperwork, like she's a badass, like she closed on
I
10
don't think
houses.
this is cool as you think it sounds.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Because we've talked about this before.
Have I
and-
really?
yeah. Cool. And I just don't think it carries over. So I do a lot of like sports graphic design and stuff, and it just doesn't. I don't think the convergence works the way you want it to.
If I may,
Sorry to shit on your parade there.
juggling boosts brain development. Research
Back to juggling.
Research indicates that learning to juggle accelerates the growth of neural connections related to memory, focus, movement, and vision.
Oh, maybe I should learn to juggle.
See, now
have
I
a
don't want to
horrible memory.
I don't want to be that guy, but it kind of feels like that would be the same with learning any new skill.
Good point.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an
Wes,
article that you could just
shut
take out
up.
juggling and put playing guitar in.
Yeah.
Like, would be. Did you know
That's
that
so
it
true.
stimulates all these things?
Probably piano.
Anything. I
Yeah.
think anything like
Yeah.
learning.
Do you
with
play
it,
any
Well,
instruments?
I went to imright.com, and that's what they had.
I played the clarinet.
Really?
Hey, I
Yeah.
played the clarinet.
Yeah.
You could still play it,
Ugh, questionable.
but you know how to play it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
at one time.
That's
At
cool.
one time.
Yeah.
I play guitar. Do you play? You don't play anything?
What? No, I learned how to play guitar
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
when we were at some point. Yeah.
So
When
3
we were living together in college, I used your guitar and learned how to play.
Oh, I
guitar.
didn't know you successful learned. I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
you never got around to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So we have 3
And I can still,
guitarists
you know, mess around with it.
and a
Clarinetist?
clarinetist.
I don't know.
Wait, did you
Sound
learn in high school how to play?
In junior high.
Junior high?
I played the clarinet in junior high, and then I switched to percussion.
Mm.
You know, played some drums and whatnot.
I did make it to first chair.
Ooh,
But-
first chair. You were
Yeah.
good.
Wait, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
First chair.
I mean,
There's
she's
like
good.
it's a progression of I guess essentially your
Yeah.
abilities.
Yeah.
So if you're fourth chair, you're probably not.
Beginner.
I mean, you're pretty good, but if you can make first, second, or third chair, you're pretty good.
Let's just put it this way: when I was playing clarinet, I was standing up. All right, so I mean, like there was like a.
the
You had no
part.
chair.
I didn't have a chair. All right, I was standing. She was.
I actually like that joke.
Thank you. I
Good job.
appreciate it.
was
No, she
good.
was first. I mean, she was good. I played like backup triangle. So like, I mean, I was very bad at.
You like
You played
offbeat.
JV triangle.
Yeah, I played clarinet. I didn't have a chair. I switched percussion, and I was like, yeah, backup triangle. So that's what I got to play.
Nice.
So there you go.
Good for you, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it's
You
really.
probably still built some brain cells.
I think I did. I got to a point where I could play the we have really gotten far afield here.
I like this.
I got to the point where my best instrument, I actually got first chair equivalent on this. There was one song that was actually like I got to be the lead on this or whatever. Was the timpani. You're familiar?
It's not ringing a bell.
Okay, so I mean, it's just like
Does it have bells in it?
no.
Oh man.
Timpani is two like big.
You want to
bass
spell
drums.
that?
Oh, the big
Yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Yes.
but they're laying down. They're like a bass drum that's like
Yeah,
on side, it's
yeah.
laying down, right?
Uh-huh.
And you do a lot of like not drum roll, but like ominous drum roll type stuff with it,
Ooh.
where you hit it and you're like, boom. Like it's stuff like that.
Did you get that motion?
I did.
It was a lot. It's a lot of like
Wait. Hang on.
yes,
Yeah.
stuff like that. I feel like I was pretty spot on in he's playing it now,
Gotcha.
This is what you were first chair at.
sort of on like one or two songs. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wait, you did this?
Yes, that's a timpani. Yes,
He's
that's what I'm
like
saying.
doubting you now.
He's playing a audio.
I mean, it
recording
doesn't
of
look that hard.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. But like, yeah, you had to like.
Okay,
know,
that's
I mean,
enough.
like,
That's
you know,
enough of that.
But yeah, no, I got to where I was like halfway decent at that. So
Sweet.
again, this is like 8th grade. So I mean,
Yeah.
like let's preface a little bit. But yeah. So those.
That
are
was
the,
actually you in the video.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that was my 8th grade recital. Hey mom. Hey dad.
Oh man, that'd be
Tell
funny.
us about
So,
the workout challenge you're doing, Liz.
Oh.
Yeah, you're doing the 75-day soft.
Excuse me, sir. 75
She's looking
day.
at you. Well, I don't know what
Hard.
she's looking around for.
Oh, hard.
Wait, you actually thought
I
it was
swear
called
to
that?
God, I thought that was what it was called.
To be fair, there are 2 versions, and one of them is a 75 hard, and one of them is a 75.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was unaware of the
Yeah.
soft version.
He said it so confidently. 75 soft.
Dude, I don't want us to gang up on Trent. We do that enough here on the pod.
God.
There is a 75 soft, and it's basically instead of like 2 workouts a day, it's like 1 workout. I mean, it's just it's a,
maybe I should have done that one.
No. You're doing the 75 hard. Tell us about it.
Yeah. So today's actually my halfway point.
Really?
So that
Yeah.
would be 37 days.
Yep.
You just got the geese, by the way.
Whoop,
Yeah,
whoop.
congrats.
Thanks.
We're
That's
awesome. We're blowing right through that. I knew that half of 75 real quick.
This is such an
Wait,
accomplishment.
she's halfway through 75 hard, and you want recognition for
I
knowing
want that I
that's
knew that 37 was halfway to 75. Yeah, continue. I'm not good at the math, all right? I take my wins.
You're
where I can
halfway
get 'em.
through 75-day hard, Liz. Congratulations, Wes.
Tell us more about it. Great job by you. Tell us about it.
So it's 2 45-minute workouts a day, and no matter rain, snow, shine, one of those workouts has to be outside, which has not been fun lately.
That's
at
why you
all.
bought the bike?
I did buy the bike for that because I was getting tired of walking or running
Mm-hmm.
outside because I've been throwing in some runs out there. I'm not very fast. But I figured the bike would be fun.
What did you do outside during the blizzard like 2 weeks ago?
Walked.
In the snow?
All that you could see
Bro,
were my eyes.
that is impressive.
I was covered everywhere. All you could see were my eyes, and when I came in, I had like icicles on my eyelashes.
Wow.
Because
It was terrible.
So 45 minutes of walking.
45 minutes.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Or running. Or,
Which-
or cycling.
in the snow, 45 minutes of walking bundled up.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Plus, that's like walking in sand. Like, it's.
Yeah.
You had to be just,
Yeah.
maybe a little weird,
That's
but you had to be like
dedication.
sweating buckets. Like I'd have been.
I was sweating a lot.
You're all bundled up and moving for 45 minutes in like 10-degree weather.
My base layer was wool, and
Oh
it
my
got
God.
real hot real
I
fast.
believe it.
Dude, that's dedication. Holy crap.
Yeah, a couple of my neighbors have stopped me, and then a few of my other neighbors have been just giving me some weird looks. Like, that she's just crazy. She's crazy.
So you've got the physical demands of it, and then there's like dietary restraints and stuff like that too, right?
Yeah, so you stick to a diet, and you get to the cool thing is you get to pick your diet. So for me, my nemesis are bread and sugar.
Okay.
Like if I got if I got some butter rolls in front of me, they going down. Okay.
All
or
right.
if you put like a cinnamon roll in front of me, that's also going
Okay.
down.
Where's the best roll?
Best cinnamon roll?
No, just like a roll.
dinner
Oh,
roll.
God. Oh, this is hard. The Red Lobster, like cheddar biscuits,
Hell yeah, those slap.
Those are good.
those are so good, y'all. And you can buy them at the grocery store now and make them at home.
I saw that. Yeah.
I did
That's
too
not
lately.
good.
What about like Texas Roadhouse?
Texas Roadhouse is good. Listen, and the Olive Garden breadsticks. I really don't like Olive Garden, but they're breadsticks.
Neither does Trent, because ugh.
It's a garbage place.
But the breadsticks and the salad, fantastic.
Yeah, that's the only reason anyone goes to Olive Garden.
Now you're making me very hungry. Great. Let's talk about the other parts of 75 hard.
Yeah, so what
Okay,
else?
continue on. We'll distract you here. Continue on.
A gallon of water a day, which was
Golly.
insanely difficult in the beginning, but now I'm drinking more than a gallon a day.
Hey,
Oh my
Liz,
gosh.
Jesus.
Ask Trent how much water he
He
consumes in a
never
normal
drinks
day.
water. I did see him pour a little bit into something today when I came in. You did? You poured
He's
some water.
drinking like a baby bird.
I poured water into the coffee pot.
Oh.
Y'all say I don't drink water. It takes water to make this shit. It takes water to make coffee. It takes water to make.
And there I thought he was drinking
I
water.
think there's water and alcohol too. So.
Hell yeah, there is.
Oh, you can't have alcohol.
Ooh,
No
yeah,
alcohol.
Not on this one.
And you have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book per day. The reading, I think, has
Yes.
been
What are
the-
you reading?
what
So
did
you're
I
halfway
read?
through. Are you still in the same book?
No, I'm on my third book.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So the first one was Brene Brown, Atlas of the Heart,
Okay.
which was very, very good.
I'm sure you end up reading more anyway once you like start getting into
Yeah, because
it.
it
Yeah.
gets good, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if
That's
you
the
enjoy
point.
reading.
That's the
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
too.
It has to be nonfiction.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then I just read How to Influence People and Make Friends,
Mm.
which is basically
How you got your job here?
Yeah, I was about to say.
it's basically a book on how to be nice to folks.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just
God, don't tell me who's the author of that. Don't tell me. How to Win Friends and Influence People is
starts with a D.
it's one of the most famous books, like
Yeah.
best-selling books
Best-selling,
ever.
yeah. That's why I
Um,
bought it. I just went through like the bestseller list and just
Yeah.
started clicking.
Yeah, it's so famous. It was I've read it.
Dale.
Earnhardt.
No,
Dale?
Dale. Right? Yeah, Dale
Carnegie?
Yeah,
Carnegie Hall?
yeah. I think that's how
Dale
you say
Carnegie.
his name.
You're thinking of
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a famous one. I haven't read that one, but the one I've read that I get those confused when I hear them is the
The seven
Habits of
yeah,
Highly Effective People.
Oh, I've
Have you
heard
seen-
that's a really good
You
one.
should read that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
And Atomic Habits is apparently really, really good.
haven't.
There's
haven't
so
heard of
many
that.
good ones.
So what's the one you're reading now?
The 48 Laws of Power.
Haven't heard of that one.
I've heard of that. I've heard that's a good one.
It was on the bestseller list.
I was about to say, are
so-
you intentionally like? Because these are like motivational books.
They're
are you intentionally
motivational.
doing it? Because I mean, nonfiction doesn't have to be like motivational. It can be autobiography. I mean, you know.
Well, I wanted to do motivational.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the power one, I'm only like 20 pages in. It's kind of odd. And some of the stuff I'm not like, I don't know.
That one has more to do with like manipulating people, kind
Yeah,
of.
it's
Yeah.
it's
I'm
not
starting
what
to see
I.
a trend here, Trent. I'm starting to see, a behavioral pattern.
It's not what I expected it to be,
Right.
but it's making me highly aware of
Manipulative people.
manipulative
Yeah.
people, and I think maybe
That's a
it's-
good skill to
Maybe it's
have.
a good thing to know how to spot that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
it
it's
is.
good
Yeah.
to be manipulative,
No.
obviously, but it is good to be able to catch
To be able
people
to
like,
spot it.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because you can start to weed out people in your life that
Exactly.
suck.
Trent, have you read this book?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe you should read it. To
But it does have some good points in it too, though. It's got very, very cool stories about history and through history how people have done people wrong. And I mean, you can learn from all those lessons.
Right, right,
So
Yeah.
I'm still going to read it. I mean, I already started, so I'm going to finish
so
it.
it's the physical
cool.
component, it's the dietary, and then it's the mental aspect of 75 hard. Is that it? Is there something else or
No, I think that's it.
Oh,
I think
Okay.
that's plenty.
No
Yeah.
alcohol. Yeah,
Plus-
that's plenty.
Plus the water.
yeah?
Plus the water.
Right,
you
the
lost weight?
dietary thing, right?
Yeah, I am. The scale and I are not friends. We are not close. So I haven't.
Well,
set-
doing workouts though, you're gonna build muscle. Like
Yeah,
2 workouts
true.
a day.
But still, you as a woman, you don't like to see that number pop up, right? So I'm just going to stay away from it. But the clothes are fitting differently, absolutely,
Heck yeah.
and yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be my question. Is what was the reasoning for doing the 75 hard?
Like, are we getting deep here? Or are we just like
As I mean, it's your show. Whatever you want. You're guest of the show. It's your
Yeah.
pod.
just
Go where it
just
whatever you
health,
want.
health?
Yeah.
My mom passed away when she was 41 of heart disease, and so I'm creeping up on that number real quick. So yeah.
Wow, that's so young.
Yeah.
That's
very
awful.
young and very sudden. And I just can't imagine my life ending at 41. I can't imagine leaving my kids at 41.
Right.
And it was heart disease. So I got to take care of my heart, got to take care of my body. And so it's just kind of a jump start.
Well, good for you.
I've always tried to be healthy-ish, minus those cinnamon rolls and bread rolls, y'all.
Those cheddar biscuits, you have 'em.
But man, COVID, these past couple years, COVID has like done me in.
Yeah.
And this winter, I don't know, I was just in a funk. I just
Yeah.
needed something. My sister-in-law completed it, and she posted. She didn't post about it at all while she was doing it, but she posted that she had finished it, and I was like, "What is this?" And like 2 days later, I started. I
Oh,
was
really?
like,
That's awesome.
"Yeah," I was just like, "I'm gonna do it."
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously you're not alone with, the COVID and the quarantines
Yeah.
and, just the awfulness that everyone's been experiencing the last
Mhm.
few years. That just, I think everyone has fallen into unhealthy patterns
Yeah.
of many facets
Yeah.
of life.
What do you intend to retain? Like once it's over, what life changes that you've had to make to tailor to the 75-day hard? What do you think will be long-term? I will always do X.
The water consumption
Really?
is great. I really love drinking a lot of water, maybe not a gallon a day, but like it makes you mindful, right, of
Yeah.
your water intake. And seriously, the getting outside every single day
Really?
and feeling the sun on your face or sleet, snow.
Or snow, yeah.
The elements,
The elements.
whatever they may
There
be.
is something I have found that it's very psychological. You get out there and it's almost immediate that I feel better. Almost immediate. I feel fantastic.
That first week, how many bathroom trips were you making with a gallon of water?
Whew, y'all listen. Oh gosh. There have been so many close calls.
Driving.
That first couple weeks, like I had to always have a bathroom like near or know where I was going and know where the bathroom was. I almost didn't make it a couple times, but yeah.
So does your body like
Naturally adjust.
naturally
just
adjust to
adjusts.
it? Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's crazy how this has happened because if I'm behind on my water, I try to get to a half a gallon by noon. And if I'm behind, I get very thirsty. So, yeah, your body just adjusts.
So how many ounces are in a gallon?
128,
Okay.
I think. I
That
hope
sounds
I'm
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google that, Pax.
I think
and
you're right.
Give us
I think-
sounds right.
Yeah.
I just picture a gallon of milk.
Right.
Yeah.
I drink somewhere between 80 to 100 ounces of water
Yeah.
per day, just kind of based on, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Paxton brought that up and you kind of said that there. When I first started working here,
128. Yep.
128, Paxton and Trent drink no water. So when I started...
Excuse you. I drink plenty of water.
When I started working here, I was going to the bathroom a lot because I drink a good bit of water every day.
Yeah.
And these two are just, I'm peeing 4 or 5 times to their one or whatever, right? And they're just looking at me like, what is wrong? You need to go to the doctor. I'm like, no, you two need to drink
You
some
need to
water.
drink some water.
Like, there's someone weird here, and it's not me. Like, I'm hydrated. Like, I'm trying to help out my organs here.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
When you do that, you have to go to the bathroom. That's kind of how it works.
I feel like my water consumption is pretty low. Trent's, I don't know how he's
just-
alive.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Red Bull. It gives you wings.
Imagine cold liquid. It doesn't matter. Like
Cold liquid.
health advice.
Health advice.
Oh boy.
You can substitute water.
So it's like, this is going to be good. I can't wait
I
to
can't even be serious. I was going to try to say something funny. I can't even do it.
Oh, my God.
Anyway.
That's funny.
Let's shift back to what we were doing here, bringing Liz on. So when I sat down with Liz, I don't want to talk to the camera. When we sat down, I was like, who the fuck am I talking to? When we sat down to talk about you working here, we kind of we had like a 3-hour meeting.
Yeah, it went really long.
Like it was a really long time.
yeah.
And we basically went from where you grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened afterwards and where all you went, and it was just really interesting. So I remember saying to you, I wish that our entire conversation was recorded,
recorded, yeah.
because it would have been a good one.
Yeah.
It would have just been a good podcast. So
Good episode of the pod.
yeah, so I wanted to somehow, I'm not gonna lie, I just wanted to somehow recreate that if that
Okay.
was possible. I don't know if we can now, because now I know.
Now you know. Yeah.
Which is I'm not mean, but most of the time when people talk to me, it's in one ear, out the other. and I literally retained every second of that like meeting with you. So now I know like about your life. So maybe if Wes,
It's good to know about you.
Wes, you would at least don't know.
Right. So you talked to me a little bit afterwards, and he called me kind of like giddy, and was like, "Oh man, it's such a cool story. You're gonna have to meet Liz. Oh, it's so cool." So I know a little bit of the story, but yeah, I definitely think like if I were to direct some of this, I obviously didn't have that conversation.
You'll be able to ask questions
a little more genuine.
Yeah, more
genuine.
genuine.
A little bit. So if you want to jumpstart us here, I mean, like,
so
where was
I wasn't gonna be like, so from day one when you were alive at birth,
Right.
When you were born.
yeah.
but you grew up in North Carolina. Why don't
Yep.
we just start there? And you went to high school there, and that's where you grew up, and then
Where at in North Carolina?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the capital?
It's strange because you don't really have much of an accent.
Wait.
isn't it Raleigh?
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
Raleigh.
Is it
Yeah,
Raleigh?
Raleigh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But Charlotte's got the NBA team.
So
And the Panthers, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But it's not and Raleigh's just got Duke.
Raleigh's got a lot of tech.
Or wait. Raleigh's got
what do you say? What are you
I'm
implying?
confused.
That
Wait,
NBA
wait,
teams
wait,
are where
stop.
the capital is? Oh boy,
most of them.
no.
No.
Where-
Texas, Austin is the capital of Texas, and they have the Dallas
Oka-
Cowboys
Oklahoma
and San
City.
Antonio.
Dallas Cowboys, Houston Astros, the Texans,
And
that's in
Oklahoma
Houston.
City is the capital of Oklahoma. Sports team there.
We have two cities, and one's kind of a city.
Okay, Chicago Bears. Chicago is not the capital of Illinois.
Chicago, not the capital?
No, it's Springfield.
What?
Yeah.
Well, New York is the
The capital isn't necessarily the
yeah,
most
the
populated
capital
place.
of New York is Albany.
Okay,
do we have the
Sacramento is the
Albany
capital
Jets?
of California, and they've got a
capital of
sports
New York
team.
is Buffalo, I thought.
No, it's Albany. No, it's
Google.
Albany.
No, Paxton knows.
Paxton
his shit.
knows.
Yeah,
Paxton-
I know like
Paxton-
weird.
48 of the 50 capitals.
It's weird.
Are you telling me most of
Buffalo.
the capitals don't have a sports team?
Yeah, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania is the capital of Pennsylvania.
It's not Pittsburgh.
No,
You're shitting me.
Dude, the capitals have more to do with history.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's like where they set up the capital
Yeah.
like hundreds of years ago. It's not like, oh, let's put the NBA team here. The old
Learn
capital of Oklahoma used to be Guthrie.
Yep.
It was going to be Muskogee at a point.
Was it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I only know that because I'm from Muskogee. But
Okay. Anyway,
Anyway, Liz.
so from Charlotte, Raleigh is where is UNC is in Raleigh and Duke is in Durham. Sorry, I got my.
which are very close to one another.
They're like 8 miles apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like really close. And then Wake Forest is in. Is it Wake Forest? Is that like the city that Wake Forest is in?
Listen, y'all were talking sports talk, and I just don't speak your language.
She's about to walk out.
These are colleges in your home state.
And
With North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Duke are all within like a 15-mile like square, and it's Tobacco Road.
it's in
Anyway.
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. Okay, so you're from Raleigh, North Carolina, which
no, I'm not from Raleigh.
Charlotte.
That's the capital.
you're from Charlotte.
I'm from
which is
Charlotte.
not the capital, but does have two sports teams. Strangely enough, there might even be a hockey team there, for all I know.
Wes.
I'm getting there. You're from Charlotte.
What's your favorite sports team?
Is it the Panthers? So, North Carolina, you don't have much of an accent. I'm just trying to bullet point here so we can move on. And how long did you live in North Carolina?
Born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina, until middle school.
Okay.
And then we moved across the border to, like, it borders South Carolina right there. So we moved to Lake Wiley, but just on the outskirts, Lake Wiley, in a little town called Clover, and that's where I went to high school. So Clover High School, South Carolina, is where I graduated.
And your mascot was the...
Eagles, and I was the mascot.
And
That's weird. We'll tie it back later.
Okay.
That's
All right.
weird.
Okay. So your mascot was the Eagles.
Yep.
Of course.
In that. And then so where do we go from here? We go to college. What do we do? Or no?
We do not go to college,
Okay.
girl. Nope. So, kind of not great home life.
Okay.
So I wanted to get out of there, and the military was the quickest way to do that. I did get accepted to UNC Chapel Hill, but after reviewing how much that was going to cost, I was like, you know what? I don't want to start my life out in debt,
Which is in Raleigh.
which is in Raleigh,
The capital.
the capital.
Yeah. The more you know.
So
Knowledge is power.
I did know UNC Chapel Hill was about the only one, right? So I
Tar Heels. Anyway, continue.
Tar Heels, yeah. So I enlisted in the Air Force.
Okay.
I went in as open general, which means you don't have a dedicated job when you go in. You go in and then you discover it's like a surprise. You find out what you're gonna do.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's so fun.
I thought you get like assigned like a job.
You can. You
Okay.
can pick a job, and then that job is what you're going to do when you go in.
What
or
made-
you can go in open general,
Right.
and you pick one down the line.
What drew you to the Air Force?
Actually, I lived with my pastor at the time for my senior year. I lived with my pastor, and he actually convinced me. I guess he had a family member in the Air Force, I think, and I don't know. I can't swim, so Navy was just like not.
This probably won't end well.
You weren't going to be a Navy SEAL.
No, I was not going to be a Navy SEAL, and I wasn't really feeling the Marines, and I definitely wasn't feeling the Army. Sorry, Army. So Air Force it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there's an Air Force university, but that's different. Like it's a genuine.
Why
ass
are we
question.
Why are we going back to college?
Yes, that's in Colorado.
It's in the West. Yeah, it's in Colorado.
it's in
Colorado
Colorado.
Springs? Maybe.
think
No, it's
so.
Colorado State is in Colorado Springs. Anyway, but so you didn't go there.
No.
Okay, so
didn't.
so I mean you can enlist in the Air Force but not go to Air Force University.
Right. If you
Okay.
want to be a commissioned officer, you go there.
Oh,
I
okay,
went in
okay,
enlisted.
Okay.
And so I had done Air Force, junior ROTC all 4 years of high school. And so I already had like you get a couple ranks if
Right.
you have that under your belt. So it was the smartest.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your rank when you went in?
Oh,
Like
airman first class.
that sounds
I
fancy.
think that's right. Yeah.
Airman first class. That's cool. Okay, so
Where was basic training at?
Basic
Sure.
training was in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That was in basic training was in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas, which was so hot.
Well, I was about to say, I bet that
It was
sucked.
so hot.
What month were you in basic?
Like
June?
August or something. Yeah.
August, September.
Really?
Oh, my-
Oh.
They do that on purpose.
It was
San
so hot.
Antonio?
It was so hot.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then they shipped me off, got past that, and I went to Biloxi, Mississippi, where I trained. Well, in basic training, since I went in open general, they just put you in this room, in this like cold room. And there's one guy sitting up there, and he hands you and all the other idiots who came in open general, he gives you this list of jobs. And there's like 13 jobs there. And you put them in order from 1 to least favorite.
Okay.
You know where weather was?
At the bottom.
At the bottom.
Sorry, Pax.
It was all the way at the bottom. And so you submit your list, and then they give you your job. Like it's some time later, and then they
Yeah.
give you your
What
job.
What were a few of your top ones? Do you
I can't remember.
No.
No,
I'm sure they're pretty abstract jobs. Like
probably.
you probably didn't know what half of them were.
Didn't, yeah, probably not.
Wait, so you put weather last?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So offended.
so I got weather.
Okay.
And then you have one chance to refute it. And the guy was
Wait.
like,
Stop. You put weather last of these.
Yes.
And then the job that you were given was.
weather.
Seems like they do that on purpose.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't catch that. So that was your bottom list, and that was the one you ended up getting.
Gotta love
Yeah.
the military.
I cried my eyes out. I went up to that dude and I was like, hey, this is not for me. This is not going to work. That's not what I want to do.
Right,
I need
right.
something else. And he was like, no, the Air Force needs weather forecasters. Have fun.
Wait. So I mean, like, no bullshit. Like I was making fun of Pax a second ago, but like this, like you were like a meteorologist of some kind,
Weather forecaster
which means
/ observer.
That kind of sounds like a meteorologist from the knowledge I have.
Without the degree.
Okay. All right. So maybe even more accurate. So you would
Just keep in mind who follows me on Twitter and where this is probably going to go out to.
all the hordes that follow Paxton's kind of Twitter famous. So you got weather, and then
Yep.
how long did you learn how to do weather against your will?
8 months.
Okay.
Against your will.
Against my will, yeah. Let me back up a little bit. So my chief Census, I love you so much.
Friend of the show.
Was my instructor in junior ROTC in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so his entire career, he was weather. And I remember him teaching a class on clouds, y'all. I got so mad. I was like, why are we, I literally raised my hand. I was like, Chief, why are we ever going to need to know about this? I'm never going to need to know this. Y'all, his face, when I came back and told him I got weather, he just laughed. Oh, life. So yeah, anyway, weather.
Clouds are important.
Clouds are important, actually. So Biloxi for 8 months. Biloxi, Mississippi, very hot. Big cockroaches, y'all. Like, big ones. Oh, it was so gross. Very sticky, humid. Anyway, 8 months. And I was actually engaged at that point.
Okay.
And to like high school sweetheart kind of thing. And I broke that engagement off. Yeah. Oh. Well, once you get, like, it's like your little hometown and there's only so many fish.
Wait,
Trent, don't act like you didn't either.
Right?
When did you get engaged? In high school? Like before you graduated or something?
Day I graduated.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, this
Yeah.
was just, and then.
Not smart.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're, a year-ish removed from that you
Yeah.
broke off the engagement?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. I just knew I wanted something different. I
Gotcha.
wanted to get away from where that was and maybe see what else was out there.
Gotcha.
Right.
Mississippi will do that to you. Sorry for all the Mississippi listeners out there. Your boy Wes has been to all 50 states. Mississippi, 50. It is just awful. Horrible state. Horrible.
It does suck.
It's not.
I was
going
to
to
say North Carolina, but
North Carolina is beautiful. It's got Raleigh. It's got Durham. Anyway,
I'm kidding.
Watch it.
Okay.
giving her a look over there. So 8 months in Biloxi, learning how to weather.
How to weather. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And then I got an assignment and I had requested, they pretty much give you your first assignment. Like it's a freebie, right? To
Okay.
make you happy because you just joined the military.
Sorry, we gave you number 13 on your list.
Right?
Yeah.
Here's
We'll at
the
least
place
send
you want to
you
go.
This will make you feel
The
better.
first place we send you, we'll let you choose.
Yeah. So I had requested South Carolina. And I got South Carolina. I actually got the location I wanted, not the job. But
Right.
so I got South Carolina.
Just to go back home, basically?
Yeah, to go back home
Right,
and
okay.
be with my fiance. But at this point, I had no fiance and I wanted
Right.
to travel.
Gotcha.
And so there was a girl in my class who had gotten Germany,
Okay.
but she had had a child previously, and that child was in South Carolina. And so you
Wow.
could do what's called swapping. So I swapped. I was like, here, you take South
Okay, wait, wait.
Carolina.
So
I'm
let me-
going to Germany.
So let me get that timeline right here.
Yeah.
You're in Biloxi, you're in training, you choose your location, you choose, hey, I'm gonna go to South Carolina. My fiance's back in South Carolina, everything's good. The paperwork's all sent in, done and done, right?
Yep.
And then you realize you want to break it off with fiance,
Yep.
and you're like, well, now I can't go back to South Carolina. Who wants to switch? And there happened to be a girl who was going to Germany that now actually had a reason to go back to South Carolina, and you guys just switched.
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
You just switch.
it's kismet.
Yep. And so I had to make the phone call to my mom. That was not fun.
Did you tell mom the truth, or did you say they reassigned me?
I had no choice. They made me do the weather thing. Now they're making me go to Germany. This sucks.
No, I told her the truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told her the truth. And then she, she cried for a little bit, but then she was pretty happy. She was like, go explore and we'll talk on the phone all the time and you
Yeah.
can send me cool things. And that's what we did.
More importantly, did we tell the ex-fiance the truth? Or did he like, they assigned me. What are you going to do?
I told him.
It feels like an easy way to get out of it. Like, I got to go to Germany.
No, I told him the truth.
You're
yeah.
a stand-up woman, Liz.
And I gave his ring back.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'd have lied somewhere along the lines here. I think I'd taken the easy way out. So good for you. Good for you. A little more upstanding. So you go to Germany. Where at in Germany? I know of Munich. Hopefully you went there. Which is the capital?
South. I'm
Is Munich the capital?
I think
Paxton?
it's Berlin.
I don't know.
I don't know. You Google it, sir.
I was drinking heavily in Germany. I do not
Ooh,
recall
Berlin. I do know Berlin.
How
where
hard-
the capital is.
How hard was basic training?
It's Berlin.
Well done, Pax. Give him the geese. Give yourself the geese. Good job.
Yeah, how hard is basic training in the Air Force?
After knowing lots of people in the military, I would say it's probably the easiest.
Really?
Yeah.
They call. So my grandpa was in the Air Force,
Yeah.
and he told me that people called it the chair force.
Yep.
Because
I'm not going to tell you what they call the girls.
oh man,
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The chair force?
The
yeah,
chair
because you
force.
just end up
Sitting in a chair.
sitting in a chair like a pencil pusher. Like
Yeah.
that's like the running joke, I guess, in that community.
Of basic training?
There is some truth to
No,
all
they're just,
like
of all the branches in the military, they say the Air Force is the chair force.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like their nickname. Their
Sorry,
nickname.
sorry,
Yeah.
Because they're lazy.
No, just because.
God, she's sitting right here, bro.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm good.
I'm trying to just follow the train of thought here. I don't know.
Yeah, lackadaisical.
Yeah.
So you got over to Germany. You're just sitting in chairs, drinking beer, not doing anything.
I mean, as a weather forecaster, you do sit in a chair like pretty much your entire shift looking at models. And then you get off shift and you go have a good time. Yes, that's what I did.
Okay. So this is actually
So-
something you could talk to Paxton about. I mean, like, I realized I was it's not something you wanted to do, but maybe have retained some of that you could have a conversation with in-house meteorologist here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question though: why does the Air Force need weather forecasters?
That's a great question. So I guess most people think of weather forecasters, they think, when I drive my car today down the road, am I going to slip on the ice? Like that's how you think of it in your everyday life.
Do I need to grab a jacket on the way
Do I
outside?
need to grab a jacket? So in the Air Force, before any pilot takes off, they have to come to the weather desk and they have to get what's called a -1. And so that's a weather briefing that they have to have before they take off. So that's their takeoff weather, their weather en route, and the weather that is forecasted for their landing.
Okay.
And so
Like an itinerary almost.
it's an itinerary of weather, yes. And so you have to prepare that -1 for every single pilot that takes off that day. And
Which in civilian world, like before you take off, when
Yeah.
you're on the runway, you have to have the latest weather, and it's like
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you have to, like if there's an accident, like my dad as just a private pilot, if there's an accident, insurance will be like, no, we're not gonna help you out because what was the latest weather you got? And if you didn't write it down, like my latest weather was Charlie,
Right.
it's like, well, it was Echo when you took off, so clearly you're lying or you didn't have the proper weather, and that's what happened. So like having the latest weather is very important, even in the civilian world.
yeah. If for any pilot, the weather
Sure,
is
right.
extremely important. And, when you're dropping bombs, you kind of need to know which way the wind is blowing or other hazardous items.
Sure, makes sense.
You got to know the weather, right? So it doesn't sound very important, but it is. It's an important part of what the Air Force does.
Okay.
At the time, I hated my job and I
Sure.
didn't think it was important at all. But now looking back on it, I'm like, okay,
Right,
that was
right.
actually pretty important. I helped some helicopters get through some storms in the mountains of Italy. Like that was pretty cool. Like actually real time navigating them through
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
and around thunderstorms. That was pretty cool. And then there was a back room where they did the weather for the folks like in Iraq at that point. I never got to that room.
Wait, yeah. So hold on. What's the year? Like, what's the time frame when you're doing this over in Germany?
2004, 5, and 6.
So
Okay.
like
Man,
the midst
we were-
of
Yeah. So I was about to say like
war
I'm
in Iraq.
I'm starting to pick up on this a little. I was like, wait a minute, this was kind of like wartime.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we had
Wow.
a lot of folks that trained, like joint forces. They would do a lot of joint training in the mountains of Italy in preparation for going to Iraq, Afghanistan. And so they would train and then they would go over.
Right.
And then Germany was kind of like the stopping point to
Okay.
all the folks
All right.
going downrange. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay. I didn't realize and we've worked together for a few weeks now. I mean, I knew you had some military background and all that sorts of. I didn't realize it was that intense.
Well, it wasn't for me. I was in Germany.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't though. Like you said, you were overseas during a time when the United States was at war.
yes.
So fairly intense. I mean,
It was a lot more intense for a lot of other people.
sure, right. It way more intense than what I was doing. Sitting over here doing nothing. But no, so like, wow, okay. So I didn't realize. I mean, just in the offhand, talks that we've had, how big of a deal it was. I thought it was just very much, like reserves, like, just kind of like passive type stuff. But this is very like fairly active.
Yeah, I never got deployed. They were smart not to send me downrange with a gun. So I never got deployed. So I can't say that I've actually been in a war zone, which I'm glad that I haven't had to do that. But
well, and I think even that and again, it definitely could be from these two who are more manly than me, just a naivety on my part. But like the delineation, surely understanding of your perspective of like, hey, like, yeah, I was over there, but like I wasn't like on the battle, like, you know, there's a clear difference as even we're having this conversation, you're pushing back on it pretty hard. In my civilian brain, I'm like, no, you were over there. Like that's all like the same level of like, I'm sitting here on the couch, you know, watching cartoons and you're over there. So I mean, like in my brain, there, you know, again, it could just be my naivety, but it's the clear differential there. I'm like, wow, like I mean, that's real time, like big stuff. I mean, that's really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So in the day-to-day, you were like, I hate my job.
Yes.
I'm just pushing numbers here, reading data, interpreting data, I guess.
Yes.
But now you look back, you're like, I was an important puzzle piece. I mean, we all are as weather forecasters.
Yeah.
I'm sure now.
Yeah. I think it's an important job within the Air Force.
Yeah.
But I think there are lots of important jobs for our military members, but yeah, that is pretty important. And it's pretty cool now that I look back at it. But in the moment when you're just reading all the models and all the data and you're putting out forecast after forecast and you're wrong most of the time, it gets to be boring and monotonous. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds so boring.
So when you were doing that, did you have your eyes on or your mind on something else that you would rather be doing?
Yeah, I always wanted, and this is what Trent and I talked about, which was so cool. I told Trent, he was like, well, what did you want to do? And I always wanted to do combat camera. Even in junior ROTC in high school.
Sorry, let me stop real quick. Yeah, what's combat camera?
So combat camera is essentially a photographer that goes into a war zone and captures the war. You capture the war. You capture people shooting.
People have a gun?
Yes. And you plant yourself in the middle of that and you capture it.
Okay, hold on.
How do you think we get pictures from like history and for history books?
I think as we're realizing here on the pod, there are a lot of things that I just never. I'm sure that happens. It's not something I ever thought about.
Well, I mean, they used to have like the little drummer boy walking through
That's
the
what
battlefield.
I'm saying. I was legit about to make the comparison. Like, so it's no different than like the Civil War where they're like, all right, no one shoot Ted. Ted's going to play the snare drum and then we can start firing.
Or the medics, yeah.
I wanted to do war drum so bad.
Yeah.
I got weather.
I got war clarinet.
Clarinet.
So you wanted to be a person that, and this job exists.
Yes, yeah.
That a person walks out with a camera in one arm and a rifle in the other, and just like, hey, when the bullets stop flying, could you take a knee and grab a few pics?
I think it's why the bullets are flying.
Yeah.
Hey, while the bullets are flying, avoid some of them, snap a couple pictures, turn, fire, get another shot.
Yeah.
You're taking so many shots. You're taking shots with a rifle, shots with a camera.
I think you predominantly hold the camera, not the rifle, is the idea. But yeah.
So you're uniquely fitted for PMC.
Yes, I am.
We do stay strapped.
We do.
What on?
That should be on our shirts.
We don't have room for it. We're talking about juggling brains.
I'm sorry. Okay.
There's no room. So that's the job that you wanted while you're doing the forecasting.
Yeah. So in junior ROTC, when I graduated, Chief and everyone that was on the drill team, I was on the drill team all 4 years. They bought me a book. It's a book of combat camera photographs throughout history.
Is that because you had an interest in
photography
they knew, in high school?
Yeah, okay. I was the high school photographer too. But they knew I wanted to be in combat camera. They knew that's what I wanted. So I still have that book. It's incredible. And so I wanted to be in combat camera, but there was a 4-year waiting list, and I couldn't.
So that's
stay there
a popular thing that people want to do.
I guess so.
There's a 4-year wait list,
and it might not necessarily be super popular, but it might not require a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know? There's a wait list of people who want to go.
This makes it sound terrible.
Who want to go into a fight and be the ones not fighting but taking the pictures of the fight.
Well, there are also a lot of people in the world who want to go to the fight with the gun, right?
Which also just blows me away. I'm very thankful for it, but my brain can't wrap why you would want to do such a thing. So how long did you do the forecasting?
I did that for 4 years. Yeah.
And were you trying to figure out how to get your way to this camera combat thing?
Well, I tried to cross train.
Okay.
And when we were stationed in Texas, my husband and I, we're both in the military. So we got stationed in Texas and I tried to cross train, but they only gave me more like scientific jobs. And I knew I preferred working with the right side of my brain.
Wait. Wait, I thought you were in Germany.
I was. Then we got, well, okay, let me back up. Sorry. So we were stationed in Germany. I started dating my husband. We met and started dating, and we got married in Germany.
You met him in Germany?
Yes.
What was he doing in Germany?
He was also a weather forecaster.
Oh.
We met there.
Mm.
I went
left
to
out the spicy
the
details
spicy detail
of being a weather forecaster. I didn't realize there was all this going on.
Yeah.
Weather forecaster starting to sound like a little better job. Okay, there's some more perks going on here I didn't know about. So, husband, also weather forecaster.
Yes.
Also put number 13 and just wound up with his job, or
No, he requested weather.
Really?
He wanted to be the
He
weather.
wanted to be in weather.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Was it because he actually liked weather, or was it just like, I think this will be easy or something?
No, I think he actually had an interest.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So, did you wait to break the news to him that you put that last before or after you got married, or was that like we don't want to talk about this? Maybe
That was
Is he
before.
finding out today?
maybe
No.
about to say he's like, what? You
No.
told me that's what you wanted to do.
No, he knows I
Okay.
definitely did not like weather. Yeah.
Gotcha, but that didn't turn him off. He was like, I don't care.
What were your shifts like over there? Like, how many hours did you have to do that?
I think we had 3 shifts. 3 shifts that rotated 24 hours. Yeah.
Damn. So you worked 24 hours
Mhm.
at a time?
No,
Oh,
no,
3
not
shifts.
3 shifts.
Oh.
That ran
Every
24 hours a day.
8
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Jesus.
Sorry. Yeah. 8 hours. And so your shift would change.
Okay. What'd you do for fun over there?
Drink.
It's Germany. What else is there to do?
Did you ever drink out of the what's the movie where they
Das Boot.
yeah, to do the boot thing where you gotta like spin it or whatever? Is that real? I think it's real. I think
Okay,
it's real.
so you guys don't kill me, but at that point in my life, I did not like beer,
So what were
I
you
know.
drinking?
liquor.
Oh, I figured it would just be such a cultural
Yeah,
thing. Like you have to drink.
you're a whiskey girl, right?
I'm a whiskey girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rum's better, but I figure culturally, like you would just drink beer.
I know I did. I
Yeah.
had some,
Right.
but it wasn't my favorite at that point in my life.
I-
I do love beer now, but it wasn't my favorite then.
I want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
Just for a quick aside on the pod. So
Stop. Gosh.
this is your fault. You caused this. So Trent and I are kind of tag teaming interview right now, right? And just kind of like as this has been going on, I've noticed a few things that Trent and I are asking very different questions.
You are.
And I don't know if I know Trent well enough to know that he might be doing that on purpose. But I also like him and I are just so much different personality wise. I don't know if you've caught on that by now. But you have noticed that him and I are asking very different questions.
Yes.
Has anyone else noticed that? Or okay, are you doing that intentionally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
About to say, like, I think you're probably doing it intentionally just for the diversity of it, but also like I think you and I are genuinely like interested in different
Different
things.
things. Yeah.
Like, wait, tell me more about that.
The
Like,
capital of each state,
All the sports teams.
or the sports teams in each
Versus
state.
like, what'd you do in Germany?
Yeah.
Right.
What'd you
Like-
do for fun in Germany?
no, he was like, wait, so like, what were your duties? Did you have to like? I was just like, whatever. Okay.
Not interested in that.
I'm sorry. This is the first time we're like kind of interviewing like together. And it's just kind of funny to me. I actually think it's a really interesting back and forth. Of
It
just
is. Yeah.
The way we ask different questions over. I think I might be up though, or was it still? You had the last question. No, I jumped in last. So if you wanna go back, we'll kind of volley a little bit. But so yeah, work the 8-hour shifts,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, you get off shift, rest a little bit, and go hit the town.
How was Oktoberfest in Germany?
Well, okay, if you recall, I didn't drink a lot of beer.
Well, you can still go to Oktoberfest
Okay,
without
so
drinking beer.
also don't kill me. I never went to an Oktoberfest.
I was about. I
Oh
knew. I was.
my
I
Lord.
knew she was gonna.
It's just
say
a good
that. I
excuse to
just
go
knew.
back, I guess.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
where was base, like what the air base there?
So it was Simbach, and when you say Simbach, a lot of people don't know that. They know Ramstein, which is like
Oh, yeah, I know
30
Oh,
Ramstein.
Ramstein.
Everybody knows
Right. Yeah,
Ramstein,
of
yeah.
course. That was going to be my next guess. Yeah.
So it was a little airbase that got shut down. The airstrip wasn't operational while we were there. It was basically just a really, really small base. And the main thing that was there was the weather hub. Yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of weather forecasters pretty much.
Yeah, and
on base.
a lot. So we joint barracked with the
I was just about to
Germans.
ask, what was the barracks like? Was it
So we
old
had
and-
I wasn't going to ask about that.
were
This
they
is
like
good he asked
old
about
and
it.
shitty, or were they like kind of nice?
no, they were old and
Really?
shitty. Yeah.
Like college dorms type
Yeah, college
situation?
dorms basically. So the Americans were in this one, and then there was another one right beside that had the Germans in it. Oh my gosh, those guys!
Up late, loud.
They know how to party.
Yeah.
yeah.
I believe it. I can see that. That makes sense.
Germans? Really? You think?
No, really? No, but yeah, it was great. We went downtown, and downtown is not like downtown here. So when you go downtown in Germany and you're young and you're partying,
Downtown Ramstein?
no,
Munich.
no,
Oh, my God.
Berlin.
just the nearest town,
Okay.
the nearest town that you're like. You
Okay.
pick one; they're all sprinkled all over. They literally party there until like 6 a.m.
So there's no like 2 a.m. everybody out.
Everybody that does not exist. At
I've
least to
heard-
the places I went to.
I've
Like,
heard that.
it is just you just bar hop. You literally bar hop.
How much prettier is Germany versus America?
Oh, that's really hard.
That's
It
offensive.
depends.
Like, I've never
Yeah.
been to Germany, but I would say America has to be prettier.
My
I would say
second-
there's no way.
My second favorite place in the world is in Idaho. If that tells you
Germany's
anything.
like as big as this podcast table.
Like it's a little inaccurate. Paxton, can you Google over there for us?
How big Germany is?
Yeah, like what's the state equivalent?
In
of
relation.
size?
Like the
Okay.
state of
Yeah.
Texas.
Texas?
Yeah, like what's a state equivalent?
It'd be
I
like
couldn't
living
even
in a
guess.
country the size of Texas and being like, this country's way more beautiful than Russia.
Germany is approximately, just bear with me,
Yeah.
357,000 square kilometers. Texas is approximately 678 square
Half the
kilometers.
size of Texas.
Making Texas 90% larger than Germany.
Almost
so
double
almost,
the size of
almost
Germany.
double the size.
So it's like there's no way Germany's prettier. It's so small.
It's
There's not a
very
lot
small.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's gotta be pretty in Oklahoma. Has to be.
Yes.
Yes.
Germany's probably about the size of like Pennsylvania.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you
All
can
right,
picture
yeah,
that.
Yeah. And Pennsylvania's pretty. I've been to Pennsylvania. Very pretty.
hmm
Yeah,
It
okay.
is a very, very beautiful country, though. I loved it.
Okay. Trent got really like America, USA defensive right there for some reason. I have
No,
idea
my
why,
brain would just, I know how big Germany is, and I'm like, how could you think a country that small? Because the U.S. is huge, and we have so many different
Yeah.
climates and
Right.
landscapes.
Yeah, but so
So
many of the
many
climates
regions.
suck.
Sure, yeah, I
Like
agree.
the one we live in. But so I just kind of I assume all of the Western European countries are like really physically attractive, like landscape wise. Without having been there, I just would assume.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I just would assume, and like
I think
most of,
Europe
like,
in general, though, I think it just you could drop a pin anywhere and it's gorgeous.
right. And I know you said Idaho and whatever, but you know
Whatever.
anything that really isn't kind of the coast of the United States is very kind of meh.
What?
You need
What?
to travel some
Yes.
more.
What?
I have
You
been.
need to get out.
Are
I
you
have been
kidding
to
me?
everywhere. I have been to them.
That's
You haven't been
That's
to the
worse
right
than your
places.
Big Bang Theory take.
Oh my gosh.
Out of here.
Can we, Wes, clip this. Clip what you
You
said.
talking to me
yeah,
later?
I'm talking to you. You're editing. Clip this.
Are you? What are you so appalled by? What I just said?
You
Only
think the coasts are ugly?
of the U.S. are attractive.
Are
I didn't
attractive.
say the coasts are ugly, Paxton.
Oh,
Actually,
they're-
Only,
Those are the
only
coasts.
the coasts
are
are
attractive.
attractive.
Oh, you out your damn mind, boy.
Dude.
You've been to Colorado.
yes, I said
Wow.
for the most part.
Stop.
Now you're backtracking.
Idaho,
You're
Montana,
done.
Nebraska's, the Dakotas. There's nothing.
All right,
out-
so hold
It's
up.
not
How,
like-
how
Hold on.
close do you think, not geographically, in scenery, do you think Nebraska is to Idaho
how close?
or
Like,
Wyoming?
oh, they're similar. I've been to these places. They're
Bro,
similar.
you are no, you are dead wrong.
What you think Nebraska looks
Bro.
like Idaho?
in
You're
the fact
dead
that it's
wrong.
flat and there's not a whole lot
Bro,
going
Get
on.
ready
Idaho-
to throw something.
Idaho is all mountains.
Idaho is like the heart of the Rockies going up towards Canada.
I feel like the heart of the Rockies is like Colorado.
Colorado's the foot of the Rockies. It's like
Yeah.
where they start.
Oh,
I
you meant
think-
like actually like heart, like in the middle of
Man,
like the body.
you say you've been to all 50 states.
I
You've
have been to all
driven
50
through
states.
like the corner of a state and been like, "Yep, I've been there."
Hold on, wait.
I never
wait,
need to go
wait,
back
wait.
now.
Hey, you remember when Paxton? Sorry, we've gotten an aside now, and I'm getting heated. I normally podcast in a t-shirt because I get hot, and now I'm getting warm over here.
I'm about to
Getting
mute.
hot now.
Sorry.
I'm about to mute your mic. bro.
Last week,
I hold that power.
last week, Paxton got on a big rant about Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Yeah, and I was
Wait!
right, and everyone agreed with me.
Paxton got on a big rant about Big Bang Theory, about how it was terrible, and he'd seen like 5 episodes in his life, and he was like, "This is terrible." Have you been to Idaho?
I have not been to
Okay,
Idaho.
but Idaho's so beautiful. How could you ever, Wes? I don't know. You haven't even been there.
I've been there probably as much as you have.
Okay.
That is not true.
Oh, wait.
You
I
drove
have-
through the
true.
corner of
I
Idaho.
have a question. Where?
Sorry,
in
Paxton
Idaho,
made me angry.
Where in Idaho were you?
So I've been to Idaho,
I bet you can't name a city in Idaho other than Boise.
Boise. That's because there are no other cities.
Uh-huh.
So I've been to Idaho
others.
twice. I've been to Idaho twice. Once when I was going to what's in South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore.
Florida.
Was kind of like the Mount Rushmore was kind of like the key stop or whatever, and I was up towards the Great Lakes, and I was coming over and I was hitting Mount Rushmore, and then I drove over to Idaho and came back down or whatever. Anyway, and then the second time I went up the California coast and made it up to Vancouver. Not Vancouver. Yeah.
You went to Canada?
Yeah. Vancouver is right there. Yeah,
Put
it's
your hand
Vancouver.
down. It's
on the west
focusing on
coast.
your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. And I went up to Vancouver and then turned around and came home from Vancouver to Oklahoma and passed through Idaho and stopped in Boise. To give you an idea, like that's kind of the trajectory of what I went. And, I don't know what cities all are right
You
there or
skipped
whatever.
all the best places.
Bro, like 90% of Idaho is like green, luscious mountains.
Tell
like
me more about a
huge
place you've never
mountains.
been, Paxton. Tell me more.
I don't have to be stupid to tell you, like,
Or to look at
I'm not
photos.
yeah, like,
Okay,
come
all
on.
right. Point being, at one point
Nebraska
you wanted
is
to move
nowhere
away-
close to Idaho.
It's all flat land. It's all terrible. So,
okay.
Liz, at one point you were doing forecasting, and then you wanted to do the combat photography.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ultimately, you said you tried to do some cross training or whatever when you came back from Germany and went to Texas?
Yes. In Texas, I tried to cross train because
Okay.
I loved
We're
being
going to
in
round
the military.
back here. We're going to tie a
Thanks.
bow on it.
So I loved being in the military. Absolutely loved it. I would have done 20 had they let me cross train into something
Man.
that I really, really enjoyed. I love the military setup.
Do you regret getting out?
Sometimes I think about that and I wish I would have just picked something and ran with it.
Mhm.
I really did love it. It's a good life.
So you got out because you weren't allowed to do the photography thing as
Right.
well.
They didn't give me anything. They didn't give me any choices. It was just more scientific choices. And at that point in
Right.
my life, I knew my strong suits were with people.
Right.
Like you learn these things about yourself
Right,
over
right,
time,
right.
right? My strong suit is with people. I didn't want to do more scientific things. So I was like, okay, you're not going to let me have what I want. I'm deuces. I'm out. I'm going to go find my own path. And that's what I did.
So you were in the military how long?
4 years
4 years.
Mhm.
Okay.
You got married in Germany.
in Germany. Yeah.
To a
Really?
German?
No, I told my mom I was going to marry some sexy Spaniard, but I married an Okie.
Now I want to know about this. I'm interjecting. Like, I want to know about this story.
How they met and
Yes.
stuff?
Oh, okay. So I'll take you back to tech school. So
Okay. Which was in
it's in
Mississippi.
Biloxi,
Right,
Mississippi,
okay.
right? So I was the drill team commander. You guys probably don't know what that is, but he would see me frequently out in the back practicing with the drill team. And then in classes through the halls and stuff. So in his class, everyone knew that he liked me.
Wait,
And-
so you were kind of your husband's boss?
No, he was never on the drill team.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I'm trying to follow here. I thought that's what you were like saying.
No, he would see me out there.
You weren't like his CO.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So in his class, he had what was called the Gleese meter. And so they actually drew it on the whiteboard like a little meter. And then
That's freaking
every
hilarious.
day he would say, okay, I'm getting more courage. And so they would fill it in a little bit more and change
This was
it.
him like trying to talk to you?
Yeah,
Build up
trying
the
to
courage.
build up the
Talk to you.
courage to ask me out. I didn't know about this until like after we were
Yeah,
married.
yeah,
And so finally he worked up the courage to ask me out, and we had both gotten put up for an award. And when you get put up for award, you have to go before a board, like a board of folks, and you have to answer questions and all this jazz. So he was standing behind me. And so he like tapped me on the shoulder and he asked me out on a date, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm dating someone. So I turned him down, and that was that. I couldn't even tell you like what he looked like at that point. Like in Germany, I had no idea who this person was. Yeah. I just knew that my best friend Pedro, which is a girl, Pedroza, we called each other by last names. So Pedro had this guy living next to her in the dorms who ended up being my husband. Okay. And so I got dumped by this guy that I was dating back in the States. He dumped me, and I went up to her room bawling. I'm crying, and he comes out. Well, that's son, you da 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 da. He doesn't know what he's missing. Da da da.
He's like, this is my opportunity.
This is my whole time he's got this crush on you.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he actually swapped too.
I was about to say, what were the odds that he also ended up in Germany?
And he didn't know I went to Germany, and he swapped for Germany.
So where was he gonna go?
Illinois, I think.
Paxton's from Illinois.
Stop.
So I switched for Germany. He switched for Germany. Uh-huh. He ends up dorming right beside my best friend. So then they have this thing called Bayho. Well, it's normally called Bay Orderly, but everybody in the dorms called it Bayho because you were farmed out to clean. They picked 2 people at random to go and clean all the dorms. So imagine a college dorm and how gross that is.
Yeah, that's gross.
We were assigned together to go and clean the toilets, the kitchens, everything.
Did you have to note how nasty each room was or anything like that?
No, they were all disgusting.
Really? I didn't know if you had to like say this is a 6 out of 10. And
no, they were all like 10s. It was bad. And so I had just gotten my braces on. So I was spitting everywhere. I didn't wear makeup. I kept getting Altoids stuck in the roof of my mouth because I had this like contraption in there. And so I walk up, and he is standing outside the door where you check in, and he's just laughing. I thought he was laughing at my braces. And so I got really defensive real quick.
Sure.
And I was like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, you have no idea who I am, right? And I was like,
this is an amazing love story. If I can my God.
And I was like, I don't, who are you? You live beside Pedro. He's like, I asked you out in Biloxi.
And I was like, you didn't remember it at the time.
I was like, okay, you asked me out, sorry.
Yeah.
And so we get our supplies and we start cleaning. And when you are cleaning toilets with someone for 8 hours a day and scrubbing ovens and mopping floors, you talk and you get to know one another. And he made me laugh my tail off. Like we just laughed and laughed and laughed. Like I've never laughed so hard in my life while cleaning toilets.
Sure.
And so on
you guys
Friday,
trauma bonded.
Yeah. we did. And so the end of that week on Friday, he was down working on his car. And there's like 3 levels to this dorm, and they've got like open air walkways outside your door. So I was walking back to my room, and he's like, "Hey, Vargi," and I was like, "Yeah."
What is Vargi?
My maiden name is Vargas, and so in the military they called me Vargi.
Gotcha.
And so he's like, "Hey, Vargi," and I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You want to go out?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like you." Yeah, and. Yeah, that was
a little less formal than the first time that he tried. He took a new approach.
Yeah, he took a new approach.
Gotcha. It makes sense. He learns. It's a smart one here.
He cleaned toilets with me.
So this is a story about a guy that stalked you all the way to Germany.
Yes. Yes.
Maybe. I don't know.
This is a Dahmer Dobler situation right here.
You traded to go to Germany, so did he. He also traded to clean toilets that day. Probably.
That was picked at random. They picked those people at random.
Sure
I mean, I think now I'm questioning.
No, this is 100%
we need to have him on the podcast now and get his side of things.
Yeah.
There are so many ways, if you didn't find all this cute, that it would be the creepiest stories ever told.
So true.
I turned him down. He followed me to another country. I tried to get a different job, and who do I look up there in the next stall cleaning the door? It's this same creep. He won't leave me alone.
They investigate, and they go in. There's a whiteboard with your name on it with like a
with
meter.
Like a little meter.
Yeah, the meter. I'm like, this is creepy. I'm just trying to walk back to the dorm. He's like, hey, Vargy, I'm trying to fiddle with my keys. I'm all nervous. Like, will you go out with me? Sure. And you run inside. Yeah, there's definitely a different way to tell the story of like, this creep would not leave me alone.
No.
And I just married him out of, I was just too scared. I don't know.
So you got married in Germany.
Yeah.
Is it pretty similar to the U.S. how you go to a courthouse? Like,
yeah, we went to a little German courthouse. Our family, they weren't well enough off to fly over and be with us.
Geez,
so
yeah, I mean, that's gotta cost a lot of money.
So yeah, we got married in a little German courthouse, and our translator cost more money than our wedding.
Really?
Wow.
And to get our papers translated cost way more.
I was about to say, what did you need a translator for?
Well, to translate the service, like
the paperwork was probably not in English.
Yeah, our
the
paperwork. So we had to get our paperwork translated and a translator at the service. So at the courthouse, the guy who does the service, like a normal...
The person who marries you.
Yeah,
right.
The officiant.
There's chaplains in the armed forces.
Well, we didn't get married on base. We got married in a little town called Vinvalor.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Was like, what did you need the There's someone.
Sorry, we got married.
There
in
had to
a
be
German courthouse.
There's someone on your base that was like a
Yeah.
minister, like that. I mean,
Yeah, so we had to pay for the translator too, and then afterwards we went and had pizza and drank beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty
really cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
how long were you in Germany?
I was in Germany for almost like 3.5 years.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time to be.
Yeah. It was fun.
In another
So
country. Did you pick up on any German at all?
just enough to order food.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
do
you didn't make it
do you
like a
remember
priority
any?
or anything?
Can you give us some? Can you give us some German right now? Hit us with something.
9.
I could have done that, Liz. Come on.
No. But anyway, so when we got married, I had actually gotten an assignment to Texas.
Okay.
Well, he hadn't gotten an assignment yet. So we got married and he came to Texas with me. So you have a joint assignment when you're married and they send you together.
Okay.
And we got Texas. Well, I got Texas. Sorry, babe.
When was this? Sorry, go ahead.
This was in 2006.
Okay.
And so then we go to Del Rio, Texas,
Okay.
which is
That's like right on the border.
on the border. Yeah, they shut the border down while we were there because it was getting so bad.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's where I tried to cross train, and that is then where I made my exit from the military. And I immediately got right into like marketing. I got right back into photography and found my way.
And that kind of started your professional photography. I mean, you said, at some point you've got like 10 years experience or so of doing photography.
Yeah, I did the marketing for the base at that point, and I was just a marketing photographer, so it wasn't in a really professional kind of space. Right before my son was born in Idaho, he will be 10 on March 1st.
Okay, so you've mentioned Idaho a couple of times. How did we get to Idaho? So we're in Texas.
Okay, so we're in Texas.
You
I got out.
Your husband gets out as well, or
He cross trains.
they let him and they didn't let you?
Well, he picked,
Sexism.
No, they were gonna let me. He just picked.
I mean, it is the military.
He
Yeah,
picked
that's true.
something. Well, this is true.
Yeah.
We won't go there. He picked something different, and so he picked. He cross trained into air traffic control. So he became an air traffic controller.
Dang.
Went back to Biloxi for a little bit, for a hot minute, while he cross trained, which is a very, very difficult.
ATF, golly, or ATC, I guess. you call it.
ATC, yeah.
It's
really hard, really stressful. So he cross trained into that, and then he got the assignment to Idaho, and that's where we closed out his military career.
Did you have to stay in Del Rio while he went to Biloxi?
What did I do? I did, and then I went back and forth and saw him. Yeah.
So you end up in Idaho because that's where he got his assignment after Biloxi.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Gotcha.
And that is where I started my professional photography career.
Gotcha.
In Idaho. Yeah, it was a beautiful place to be a photographer.
Yeah,
Are you sure it's not flat
I've
and
heard-
looks like Nebraska?
It's just a bunch of grass.
Yeah, I've heard good things from people who haven't been there. That it's just real pretty, and so you're in Idaho, and
I'm muting his mic.
your husband.
Yeah, you're muted now.
Your
get a
husband. It's time out. Your husband's doing air traffic controlling at a military base there.
Yes.
Okay, and you're now just working freelance photography, or
I did a few things while I was there, actually. I've always loved customer service jobs.
okay.
I love being in service. So I worked at a car dealership as a receptionist for a little bit. I worked in retail for a little bit, all while trying to build my photography. Yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So how long were you guys in Idaho?
6 years.
All the whole time that he's
Yeah,
still
we got
with the
really
Air Force.
lucky. Yeah, we got really lucky
Gotcha.
and we got to stay there for like 6 years.
Awesome.
It was so awesome.
What was your first camera? Like, not like as a kid, but like when you were like, all right, I'm going to start for real.
Cool pics.
What?
Cool pics?
Cool pics.
Is that COLLPIC or PIX?
PIX.
I'm
So
looking that
bad.
up.
That's funny.
It was so bad. Yeah. I quickly changed. You quickly grow out of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I switched to
Yo,
a D.
are you for real?
Yeah, I'm for real.
You looked it up.
It's
Yeah, I
bad.
got it pulled up here.
Man, I wish
on
we had this
camera.
Yeah,
monitor.
It's like one of the old digital cameras that you'd have like as a kid.
Old, yeah. Then I think I went to a Nikon D5000, 5500, something like that. And then I quickly grew out of that, and then I got my D750, and that's my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you were trying to get your photography off the ground, what are you photographing?
Families.
Okay.
I've always shot families.
Yeah, you told me that in the military it's like normal to photograph births, right? Like
It.
you were saying something that's like different than
Yeah, I mentioned that I do birth photography to you, and you were
Right.
like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
and
'cause a stranger being in
right.
yeah,
right.
so
So in the military, a lot of the times the guys get deployed, right? And they're not there; they're downrange, and so that is something we are very, my husband and I are very familiar with. The dad's not being there, and so in the military, when a dad does get to be in the room for a delivery, it's a pretty special thing. And so I did some birth photography while I was there, and that was absolutely incredible. Very magical. I like magical moments.
mhm.
I like being a part of big moments in people's lives.
Right.
And photography is one of those ways I do
Right.
that.
Lends you to be able to do some things like
Yeah,
that.
mhm.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you're doing that for, 6 years roughly
Mm-hmm.
in Idaho. And then does your husband get reassigned somewhere or you're not in Idaho now. What's the
Right.
continuous on there? What happened there?
So he had to have surgery on both of his feet. He's got terrible feet.
Mhm.
Through years of playing sports, you guys would love to talk about all the sports stuff.
Yeah.
So, and being in the military, so he just had to have surgery on both feet, and then he got an assignment downrange, and
I'm sorry, you've said that a couple of times now, and Trent's nodding along. Yeah, of course, downrange. What on earth does that mean?
out of the United States of America.
That's what downrange means.
Yeah.
Is not out
It
of the
can
country.
be many places.
Gotcha. Just out of the country.
Yeah, out
Okay,
of the country.
Gotcha. So he gets a deployment from Idaho to go.
So this one was actually called a short tour,
Okay.
which is deceiving because it's not a short tour. A short tour is actually a year long.
Okay.
So it's a very, very long deployment.
So this is like
basically.
Gilligan's Island, where it's like it's going to be a short little jaunt, and then ends up being a long time.
Yes, it's a year deployment. They call it a short tour. It's
I thought
quite
people would laugh at
deceiving.
Gilligan's Island thing. Anyway, all right. I was sitting here cooking that up a little bit. I thought that would get more of a kick. But,
And so they didn't have a doctor there that could take care of his feet.
okay.
And so when you have to turn down an assignment, you get put up for what's called a med board. And that's where they review all of your medical issues and why you can't
Take the assignment.
Take the assignment,
Right.
and then they decide whether to kick you out or not.
So did he get medically discharged?
Yes, he got
Really?
medically discharged.
Really?
At
Okay.
13 years.
Oh, he needed 7 more.
Yeah. That was
For
not
what?
That was not our plan
Retirement.
for retirement.
Military retirement.
I always forget, like, Trent is very much like military, like, just kind of fascinates him, and he knows some stuff like this. There's a real big joke in here from many years ago we don't have time to get into. But, like, yeah, Trent, I'm over here just like, yeah. He's like, oh, yeah, of course, this or whatever. I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like, this is
Well,
something
I
you
have
know
family in
about.
the military.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. There's just that's a part of the friendship that Trent has interest in that I don't. It's a world I don't know anything about.
So yeah, our plan was to do 20.
Right, to get
And-
retirement.
Yes, so he
Okay.
could get retirement, and that it's like the rug gets pulled out from under your feet. You're like, oh my gosh, what do we do
So
now?
he wanted to continue.
Yes,
Yeah.
we all wanted to do 20.
Right.
Yeah, we were in it for 20,
And he no longer had the option.
and he no longer had the option.
Right.
Yeah, so
Man, that's got to be a gut punch.
it
Golly.
was,
Yeah.
it was a big change for our family.
Sure.
Yeah. So he was in air traffic control at that time. And so he knew he wanted to come back home. Well, we made the decision to come back to Oklahoma. I love you, babe. So
Wait. Come back to Oklahoma. You're not from Oklahoma.
well, I mean, I see it as my home now. I mean, back is back for him, right?
Sorry, I
Come to Oklahoma.
I was filling in the listeners. At the table, we're aware that your husband's from here, but
Yeah.
so your husband's from Oklahoma.
Yes, I think I said earlier I married an Okie.
You
right?
you touched on it just
So
briefly.
yes, he's from Oklahoma. So he's, we've been away from his family for a very, very long time. He wants to be close to them. I do too. And
Gotcha.
so we decided to come back to Oklahoma. And so I leave Idaho. He doesn't have a job yet. He's still in Idaho.
Okay.
So he's still in Idaho. I come to Oklahoma and move in with his mom. Me and my 2 kids
Okay.
in a really small
Oh
lake house.
my. Okay, so hold up. You had 2 children in Idaho.
Yes, I had both my babies in Idaho.
Okay, yeah.
They're our little tater tots.
I was trying to think like Idahoians
That's
or like what is the
That's really funny.
Tater
My
tots. That's really
brother-in-law named them tater tots. It was so cute.
Wait, so why did he stay when you guys left?
Because we had no place to live. We were living on base, and
Right.
so once
But then
you're-
he gets discharged.
yeah, he had to stay a little bit longer. So I move in with his mom. He finally gets discharged.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
okay,
so
okay.
in the time that I moved and he gets discharged, he got a job teaching air traffic at the academy in Oklahoma City.
Okay. Gotcha.
And so then he comes down to Oklahoma City, and then we go and find a house to rent in Oklahoma City. And he taught at the academy for about a year, and then got picked up with the FAA to work at Tulsa as an air traffic controller. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So he's done air traffic control for like
a hot minute.
10 years or something?
Well, he
8
doesn't
years?
do air
Or he
traffic
did
control
it
now.
for
Yeah.
8-10 years?
6, 7, 8 ish. Yeah. Ish.
Wow, that's crazy.
So how long are you guys in OKC?
A year.
Just a
We were
year.
in Oklahoma City for a year.
And then
And
he-
that's where I found out that my business plan for Idaho with photography did not match.
I was about to
So
I was
Trent
about to
actually
say,
has
Yeah.
mentioned this.
explain the culture difference
It's
between
so huge.
yeah,
So
on Idaho,
vastly different.
like maybe it is kind of a culture, but how people appreciate it differently, like in Idaho compared to like Oklahoma.
Appreciate photography. You mean?
Yeah,
Art?
the art of, or just
Art.
art in general.
Art
yeah.
in general. We're
Yeah.
talking art in general. So in the Pacific Northwest, I think you have a very different mindset, right? You have a very different mindset about a lot of different things. And one of those things is art and wall art and photos and the importance of having a photo in art on your wall, right?
Okay.
And so in Idaho, I sold wall art. So my clients would come into my studio. I would print like a 5x7 of all my favorite images that I've edited from their session. I'd put them in beautiful white mats, line them up on the wall, and they would come into the studio and they would say,
Like
okay,
a family portrait.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they would come in and say, okay, I want that one in a 24x20. I want this one in a 11x7. Like I want this one. And they would order their wall art.
Right.
And that's what I did. And so when I moved to Oklahoma, it was vastly different. People were like, what? No, just give me all the digitals.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is different.
What did you charge in Idaho to do, like, I don't know, a 2 or 3 hour session with a family and edit, and deliver their photos and have them printed?
It at the end to where I was at a really good place in my
Yeah.
skill level, like $400 for a family session. That was for my time. And then they would order photo packages. And so maybe the photo package was $500, maybe it was $1,000, depending on the client and what they could afford, you know?
Yeah.
And so,
And you just like upcharge it small amount
yeah,
to like
yeah.
go through the trouble of like ordering
Yeah.
the certain prints and all
Mhm.
that. That's crazy.
And
so
so
people paying $1,000,
Yeah,
$1,500
for art on their walls
Yeah.
that they would display very proudly in their homes. And so now it's, you know, I just want all the digitals and I'll print where I want.
I'm starting to see an underlying reason why she hates the decoration of the office now. Like I'm starting to, I'm really starting to piece it together.
We take photos. It's like the main part of our business.
It's what you do.
We have no proof on our walls.
No proof. You'd walk
all.
in here and think it was like a ping pong championship.
Yeah.
Well, see, so I'm even thinking about like, the house I grew up in, and this like, I mean, kind of a cultural thing, like you're saying, of like, we had lots of like family pictures and stuff like that, but they're all like little frames on like a nightstand or something, or like an entryway tape. Like no like big prints on the walls. Like there's none of that. Like there's like a big picture of like a fruit like my mom picked out somewhere.
Like something random.
Yeah, just
something
abstract.
So random.
Yeah. But like not like family pictures. No, of course not.
Like blessed.
Yeah, lots of stuff like that. I can think of in my entire family, there is one picture that is like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's at my grandmother's house, and it's all of the grandchildren. There's 8 of us.
Yeah.
And it's all of us that in a picture we got together at Sears and had taken or whatever. And like that is the only picture I can think of all my cousins and everyone's houses that I've been in, that I'm just like going through my mind real quick of like wall art the way you're describing. I can think of one in my entire family. Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like a cultural thing.
It hurts my heart.
Wow.
Pretty wild.
And they probably got that portrait done like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Did you ever get into landscape photography out there at all?
No.
But it's so pretty.
It is.
I mean, it
very
requires
beautiful,
different types of lenses. And
different
stuff.
types of lenses, yeah. And so you like to shoot things that don't talk.
Yes. I told her that when we met.
I like to shoot things that talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I was able to
difference there.
Very big difference.
I can't stand things that talk.
the phrase "fake it until you make it." I faked the whole shooting people and realtors and stuff until I got to the point where I could just hire somebody to do it. And now I can openly admit I hate taking pictures of people.
See,
I'm just terrible.
And you say that, and you told me that even when you first started, but it's not something you're bad at. You're good at it.
I think I'm pretty good at
people and making people comfortable.
Yeah,
for the most
I
part.
think I'm fine at it, but like I just
you don't enjoy it.
I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like I get exhausted.
Yeah.
Emotionally dealing with people, and just as a dude, like telling a girl or helping them fix their hair. It's just houses just sit there quietly.
It's like me with weather. I could do weather, and I think I was not too shabby at it, but I much prefer photography and real estate.
See, if I would have got thrown into weather in like the Air Force, I'm sure I would have been like, this is my new passion.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is great. So just to tie a bow on this here, we're coming up on 2 hours, so we should probably kind of wrap it up here a little bit. You and your husband moved to Tulsa. How long ago now at this point?
We've been here about 3.5 years.
Okay. So was it in Oklahoma City or in Tulsa that you kind of realized like, hey, like this type of photography I've been doing kind of needs what I've built a business doing, at least needs to adjust a little bit? Was that in OKC? Or, I mean, maybe you kind of found out in OKC the culture is different than Tulsa. Like, all right, we got to have a new business plan.
Yeah. It was like a culture shock wake up moment in Oklahoma City, and I adjusted immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in Tulsa, so you've been doing photography in Tulsa now for 3 years or so.
Yep.
Okay. Until you manifested your way into PMC. Right.
Yeah.
And to tie a bow on it with the audience, your husband is from Oklahoma. He's an Okie.
Yes.
And where specifically is he from?
He's from Warner, which is insane because that 3-hour conversation that I had with Trent that day when he was like, I guess like, okay, do I really want to hire this person? Like, is this a good person? Right. We were talking about where John was from, and I was like, well, he's from Muskogee. And he was like,
which I went, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. I was like, I can't even remember.
And he
there's
was like,
there's levels to it.
There's levels to it.
All the Oklahoma people say, where are you from? I'm from Tulsa or I'm from Oklahoma City. And then you just start working your way down if you need to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, from Tulsa. Me too. I'm from Muskogee. Oh, me too. Well, actually, I'm from Warner. Yeah, I mean, you just start working your way down.
And there's like 12, 20 people in the graduating class at Warner. I don't know.
It's not many. I graduated with 60.
I graduated with 42.
Yeah,
so
something
it's
like
pretty
that.
low.
Very, very small. And so the fact that you were from Warner, just blew my mind. And then you said those two guys also were from
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Warner.
town of 1,000 people.
I said
Right.
basically the whole company is people that graduate. I say from. I try not to say from because we're not necessarily all from.
Well,
there.
you're from there.
Yeah. I'm
Right.
From
I mean,
there.
you grew up there.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
Paxton and I didn't grow up in Warren. We
Right.
got there later.
Yeah.
Right, but I even told her, I said, we try not to like advertise that we're all because this company is destined to fail. We all came out of Warner.
And that was the craziest thing. I was like, there's no way that all these men are in my life and they're from Warner. And I'm from North Carolina. And I've tried to like get exoticness in my life, but I just keep coming back around to Warner.
Dude, I almost fell out of my chair. It hit me like a ton of bricks because it wasn't just like she came in and she's like, yeah, my husband's from Oklahoma. She started with, so I grew up in North Carolina.
Yeah, so how far are we into this initial conversation?
Oh, like closer to the end.
I mean, so basically the way we've designed it here.
I followed her and I know I'm a GIS person, so like I can follow around a map. I was like, okay, North Carolina to
South Carolina.
No, where'd you do training? Basically?
Biloxi.
Oh.
To Biloxi.
She graduated from South Carolina. But.
Yeah, but I'm just saying her tech school.
Yeah.
And then Germany.
Right.
And then she meets a random dude in Germany. Germany.
Maybe it was random.
Wasn't random. He was
I don't know, man. And then she ends up in Texas and then Idaho. And then my ultimate question was like, so why are you here? And she told me, and I about fell out of my damn chair.
Yeah,
I was
was
like,
crazy.
What?
The South Carolina high school mascot was the
Eagle.
And you now know that
John's was the Eagle.
Warner
Yeah,
is the Eagles.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
That is wild.
It's so crazy.
The odds of that are just,
And here we are.
And here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you found photography because you're very passionate about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. I mean, just raving things.
Even
about
just
you
from the clients
week.
that you've
for
shot.
Sure.
It's, your interaction. And I've been a fly on the wall, and I'm like, thank God, I cannot do that. I'm not that bubbly.
I do love it. I actually had someone from high school send me a message today. I just posted on my stories like a little behind the scenes thing, and she was like, "Gosh, I wish you could do my professional headshots." And I was like, "If only we could teleport." And she was like, "Well," she's like, "I'm really glad that you have photography. It's your gift." And she's like, "Well, I'm sure you were good at meteorology, but this is your thing." And it just goes back to show like, okay, we take these paths in life. Like I thought the Air Force was going to be my thing. Well, the Air Force actually led me to my husband. And he has always been very, very, he bought my cameras. He purchased them for me.
Yeah.
So he's always been very supportive, and he's known my whole life that was where my heart was. And, you know, I mean, real estate pays the bills, and I love real estate, but photography will always be my number one.
Yeah.
Always.
It's where your passion is.
Yeah. Always.
Yeah. You are, because like you do a photo session, you know, and it's like, because like if I did like a lifestyle session with somebody, like before you came along, we'd meet up somewhere and I'd shoot with them for like an hour or so, and it would be fine. I'd do a good job, but you're so much more interactive, and like even leading up to it, I watch you communicate and you're like, what are you going to wear?
Yeah.
And then you give them recommendations on what to wear, or maybe
Yeah.
bring a few outfits. And we're going to go to this location. You were on your
She
story.
was out scouting
locations.
right?
Yeah.
You just take it to an entirely new level. And that's why I'm just like,
Well, another
it's
level
so
of that, like, and she had said the other day, and I actually like now feel bad about this. I want you to know, which is no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Of like, she was doing a photography session with someone, and I was here, and she said she wanted to turn on some music or something. You guys know that's not my thing or whatever. And to which we later had a good conversation about like you need to get in a vibe and a rhythm of I was just like, that's really cool that like that is. Like you take it that seriously, and you're passionate enough about it. It's like, okay, this needs like this, and I need to have this music, so then I can communicate. Just like you can tell it's something like at the time I was just like, I prefer not. Like I just didn't realize it was a big deal. That's how passionate you are about it. There's so many.
Wait, she wanted to play music, and you were like, nah.
No, she didn't push it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't push.
She later said, hey, that was a big deal. I'm like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
No, she was just like, oh, is this the music or something like that? I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, okay. Like, and didn't say anything.
I didn't want to step on any toes.
Right. Which I later found out was like a kind of a big deal. And like, now I understand, you know, and if I had known it was a big deal, of course I would have, but I had no idea.
yeah, that's like when she brings a client in here, even if we're at our desks working, we kind of just need to like bend to,
Right.
She needs this to be a colorful environment and
Yeah.
stimulating. And
I mean, it's all about energy,
Yeah.
right? Like if the person behind the camera has great energy and is pumped and happy to be there and in the zone, like you have to be in the zone, and then they're going to mimic that energy, right? And then you feed off of each other. And
Same thing I do here on the pod, Liz.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. Someone's got to bring the heat,
yes,
and that's me. Wes
well,
Hammond's
hopefully
host of the
soon
show.
we'll just be out of here, because my plan is hopefully there's some offices available. Put all the pencil pushers, us chair force folks.
cheer force.
We'll all be like at our desk somewhere else, and this will just be a studio. We'll
And-
have like a
and ping pong.
podcast. Yeah, we'll have the podcast, ping pong, and
Right.
a studio for like photography.
I mentioned that to one of the clients today, and she was very excited about
Really?
that. Yes,
Because that makes more sense that this is just an isolated room.
Right.
Yeah.
That there's
Should come
only
and
one way
utilize
in.
for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you only like the photographers have a key to it to get in if you ever need to, and then it just has all the equipment here. It makes more sense
yeah.
than us just randomly sitting over in the corner.
And we
Yeah.
can play
Working.
music
Yeah.
as loud as we want.
Yeah,
We can make all the jokes we want. Like, I don't know. It's just a better
Yeah.
environment. And I'm so used to working one-on-one in a very private setting with my clients. Usually
Yeah.
we're out in the woods, or at a park, like, and it's just us. And so we can giggle and laugh. And it's harder to giggle and laugh and be yourself and relax your shoulders when you got 3 guys working behind you. Like,
Yep.
we're getting there, though. And I think all the clients have been extremely happy, and I love them.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, that definitely comes across, and I know. I mean, we're glad to have you for sure. Yeah, I've heard so many good things just on Facebook, talking to other people, seeing the comments, the shares. I mean, all this sort of stuff. Just glowing reviews. I mean, you're doing a great job. In case you didn't know that, or someone hadn't said that to you, you're doing a great job. So.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yep. How long we been going?
1 hour and 51 minutes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Anything else
Wow.
you want to touch on there, boss? You want me to wrap us up here?
I think you can wrap it up. Just let people know to reach out to her, because so Elizabeth, she's not like a W-2 employee here. She's 1099. So she
Who's
comes.
Elizabeth?
Jesus Christ.
Liz.
Liz. She.
Alexa,
Alexa's talking to us.
Alexa, hush!
She
We're in the middle of a pod.
She does headshot photography here at our studio, and then she'll take like PMC clients, like realtors and stuff, and do like lifestyle branding shoots and stuff. But like outside of Pollard Media, she has a company, Elizabeth Gleese Photography, and you shoot families and stuff. So what our goal really is with her working here is like maybe some of her clients outside of real estate turn into some headshot clients, and real estate like headshots and realtors turn into her being able to take their family,
cross-collaborative
yeah,
production
and
there,
shoot
right.
their families, and like
Right.
that way there's just like a cool kind of feed back and forth.
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Liz, let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. I'm gonna have you address your camera over there, and we'll cut this up, and I'll use this as a marketing tool, and we can post this out on all the social and all that sorts of stuff. But talk to the camera. Tell the people who you are, what you do, why you're passionate about it, whatever, and how people can get a hold of you, and we'll cut this and use it kind of as a clip that we can post out.
Okay. Hey there. I'm Liz Gleese, the headshot and branding photographer at Pollard Media Company. You can get a hold of me through the website, or you can call 918-500-1966. That's my direct cell number. If you want to call or text me about a shoot, or you have questions, or you have some doubts and you're scared and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, let's talk about it. Give me a call, shoot me a message, and I'll get you taken care of.
That's a cool number.
500, 1966.
500,
I already remember.
1966.
So I picked that number. They gave me like 2 or 3 options at AT&T when I went to get my new Oklahoma number,
Right.
right? And 1966 was the year my mom was born. So I was
That was the year my dad was born. I was going to say that's how I'm probably always remember your number now. That's funny.
and everybody remembers it. So it's good for real estate and photography because everybody.
Heck yeah.
Well, there you go. The amazing Liz Gleese. Before you get out of here, give her the geese one more time, Pax. Hey, there's the geese. As the outro music starts to fade in here, we want to thank all the listeners, of course, and for tuning in For those watching on YouTube, we want to thank all the watchers for tuning into the PMC podcast. We want to thank Liz for coming on the show and being our gracious host and putting up with the three of us for almost 2 hours. A Herculean effort, I will say. But this has been the PMC podcast. Make sure you join us every single week, coming to you on Tuesday mornings from Pollard Media Co. I'm your host, Wes Hammonds. Until next time.
Woo-hoo.